new feature on there I hadn't noticed until just now. Anyway, we are live, and hello everyone. Welcome to another edition of Alien Investigations, a channel dedicated to the X-Files Collectible Card Game. And we got a special matchup for this evening. We're going to be playtesting an upcoming expansion, a labor of love, my part, for the 5th season of the X-Files. This is codenamed 112263, and anyone who has seen the show and knows it well enough will figure out exactly what that refers to. Actually, if you're familiar with American history, you can also figure out what that pertains to. But yes, this is a playtest matchup we have, and it's, again, for the Season 5 expansion, which we're hoping to maybe release early in 2025, depending on how quickly we can get through these playtest games. We've got at least a dozen, baker's dozen, perhaps, that I'm hoping to see, that just enough that we get a sense of all of the cards in this 175 card expansion. And we want to make sure they're all mechanically sound before our dear leader Dax in the X-Files CCG Facebook group is ready to make them commercially available for everyone, much like with the Season 4 expansion before this one, and soon to be the Blackwood expansion for the X-Files feature film. So those are previous expansions that we've done, but before we do that, we got to do the due diligence, right, gentlemen?
Yep.
Excellent. So I want to introduce the two playtesters for this evening. We've got Skye Evans joining us from Japan. Skye, I really thank you so much for availing yourself to playtest this game. This is your first one. So what are your thoughts on these cards? I know you've probably had a chance to review them as you were building your first playtest deck. What's your takeaway?
Right. So far, I haven't read actually too much into the text as much. I was mostly focused on agents first to create my deck, like basic deck building strategies. But then going through each of the sort of new themes, I really enjoy seeing the different texts and seeing how maybe in the future commercially released cards could mesh pretty well with them.
Excellent. And your contender for this matchup is Guillaume, joining us from France, where it is 5 a.m. and we don't expect the sun to come up for a couple of hours. Will we finish this playtest game before the sun comes up over there, or will the rooster be crowing and this game is only halfway through? Guillaume, you've already done one playtest for us, so you know these playtest games tend to go a little bit longer because we do take a while to talk out these cards and question whether or not we need to do some revisions for them. You, as I said, you've already done the first playtest for this matchup, and you've got another one, obviously, in front of you now. I do wonder, and you can save a little bit for your upcoming reveal, as far as, like, did you revise your playtest deck from your previous one, or is it the same? Is your agents brand new, or can we expect the same from your last foray?
Yeah, as I mentioned after the last game, I hadn't used all of the cards, all of the Season 5 cards that I had included in, so I figured I'd keep the same deck for this game, and then for the third playtest game that I'll do, I will change completely the team and the deck. But I really wanted to, since I had some time building that one and I had not fully used it, I really wanted to try to see the new card. So actually, that is the first time that at the end of the game I have not completely put away my deck and rebuilt a new one from scratch. But at least it did save me some time for this game, because it takes quite a lot of time to build a new team, build a deck. So that was nice.
And it takes even longer to build a deck when you're working with somewhat unfamiliar cards, as it were. And if anything, it's like you and I could probably build commercially released decks in under an hour, maybe, if we're actually really if we're feeling particularly inspired. But when it comes to playtest ones, tends to take a little longer. We've got a broader pool to work with, and obviously more agents to consider for building our team. So it takes a little bit longer to do so. But again, I want to, like Skye, I want to thank you as well for availing your time because I know this game is near and dear to your heart, and so I know you are just as dedicated to seeing this expansion be top notch. And you yourself have a couple of three expansions of your own that we are looking forward into in the future once we wrap up this one. So exciting stuff. So again, thank you. And thank you, Skye. Thank you again. And I also want to thank everyone who's tuning in to this matchup. For some of us, it's 10 a.m. and in Guillaume's case, it's 5 a.m. So sometimes it's just hard to get these games to where it's convenient for everyone. But I thank everyone for tuning in. And please, if you haven't done so already, I do ask, please hit that subscribe button. If you haven't already done so, it goes a really, really long way to make sure we keep more X-Files CCG content coming your way. With that, I'm going to take myself backstage. I'm going to be observing the proceedings. And of course, if you gentlemen have a question about some of these playtest cards, please summon me and I will give my best answer. And, I will obviously be able to speak to intent, unlike the creators of the X-Files Collectible Card Game, who, for them, this game is about 30 years removed from them, and it's hard for them to answer intent questions this many decades later. But I will be able to do so for tonight. Anyway, gentlemen, I wish you both good luck, and I'm here should you have any questions.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Stephen. Awesome, Guillaume. I've been watching some of your games from the past, so I'm glad to finally have a chance to play with you.
Yeah, me too. I've watched all of your tournament games, and I was looking forward to playing with you too. So, in addition to playing with the new cards, that is an exciting game for me.
Right. Yeah, I'm so excited. So first, I'll reveal, I guess, my agents. And I guess, should we go through and read some of their game effects if we use the new agents?
Sure. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So I have Agent Fox Mulder, standard, but the new black and white version.
Yeah.
Sheriff Lucius Hartwell. And if he's on the same team as Agent Mulder, he gets a +1 to bureaucracy and occult investigation skills. And place 1 token on this card and discard it to play 1 keyword occult card for 0 cost. And I also have Richard Ringo Langley, and his game effect is the same as his card, where place 1 token on this card, remove a token to discard 1 bluff attached to a site. And the final one is Holly Patton. While she's in the bureau section, keyword government equipment may be requisitioned for -2 resource cost, and she may use martial arts cards.
Awesome. All season 5 agents except Mulder.
Yep.
Okay. Well, my income has no surprise for anyone who watched last week's game. So I have Agent Scully on my team, Detective John Kresge. It's the only season 5 agent that I have. His game effect is that if he's on the same team as Scully, he gains a +1 to his sciences and evidence collection skills. And then I have Albert Hostin and Charles Burke.
Oh, great. Great. Yeah, I wasn't able to watch your full game. It was a bit of a long one, so I still have it in my my watch later list.
And I think also because Steven does the edited versions of the game with and when you watch the full games, it's like you realize how much time, or at least for me, I'm like, I spend a long time deciding how much cards do I want to sell, how much cards do I want to buy, and I'm not sure that makes for a great viewing experience.
Right. I guess sometimes it's good to have those cuts.
Yes.
One thing too, I'll let you know, I'll preface, with my deck, I didn't have the full set of available sleeves, so they are mixed colors, but I promise I don't know what they are.
Okay, no worries.
Cool. Because it's not really a competitive game, so.
Yeah, plus, I mean, what at most that the common card is from season 5, but you don't know what that actually is. So
exactly. And for people watching at home, thanks everyone for watching. Daryl, Mike, Nathan, 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬. Thank you guys for watching. All of my cards are season 5, and maybe 1 or 2 season 4s.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Also, we'll
Yeah.
see plenty of new cards then.
Yep. Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and see, I guess, who goes first.
Yes.
How would you like to decide?
Do you have a coin, maybe?
I do not have a coin, but we can roll like a d6.
Okay.
Yeah. Would you like to be evens or odds?
Odds.
Odds. Okay. And it is 6.
Okay, your turn then.
Yeah. So I'll go first. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and I'll start too by drawing my card, and I'll generate res of 1, 2, 3.
Immediately,
4.
I'm going to play Blight.
Okay, and what does Blight do?
Yeah, okay. So I haven't had time to look at the rest of my hand, so but okay. So I know this one. Play this card at the start of your opponent's briefing phase, so I have to do it right away. Opposing agents in the oh no, I'm taking it back. It's
Okay.
opposing agents in the field section. So
okay.
Yeah, so I take it back. But you know it's coming.
Basically, okay. Yep.
Opposing agents in the field section generate no res this turn.
Okay. Okay. So I'll still generate 4. And I will use Mulder's 2 to just buy 2 cards. And pass to you to sell and buy.
I'm going to sell. Hold on, because I only have 1 premier card and the rest is season 5, so I have to make sure which one I'm going to sell and which one I'm going to need for the next round.
Yeah, and I printed all of my set in all black and white, so I really have to look at the icon in the bottom right.
True. Okay. Right, so I'm going to sell deep cover assignment and shotgun.
Okay.
For a total of shotgun is 6 and deep cover assignment season 5 is 4. So it's a total of 10, puts me at 15.
Whew, all right.
And I'm going to purchase. I'm going to buy 3 cards. And back to
you. Okay. Nothing to requisition, and of course nothing to heal. To deploy. Ooh. I will go ahead and deploy Langley and Patton to the field. And I'll play the Metro Diner. It's a Computer 4+ skill check and result site. And I'll use one of Mulder's tokens to pay for that.
All right. One bluff on the site.
Okay. And I will choose to go ahead and investigate it. And I won't use Langley's effect, but I'm sitting currently at a computer of 4 for Langley and 2 for Holly Patton. And let's see your bluff.
Well, it's a true bluff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't use Langley's effect then.
Yeah, I figured I had 8 cards, so I might as well place one fake bluff. And
exactly.
Maybe you would use Langley's token before even seeing the bluff. But,
yeah, right out of the gate.
Yeah. But no, all the cards that I have won't be enough because you do have 6 computer, and I would only be able to increase the skill check to 6.
Okay.
So yeah, no, you are free to ask your question.
Okay. So let's see. Is your result abduction?
Now let's find out. No, it's not.
Okay. Great. And then go ahead, we'll discard that. I'll put this here. Okay. And I have to discard some cards here. So, well, I really don't want to discard any. I want to use all of these.
Yeah, I know.
I want to see what they can do. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So discard 2. I'll discard transfer to ICU and 5 alarm fire.
Okay.
Oh, that's a tricky name. All right, I pass back to you.
All right. So I'm drawing my free card. I'm generating my raise, which is 5. Puts me at 10. And I'll buy. I'll buy 1 card. Or 2 cards.
Okay.
2 cards and passing it back to you.
2 cards, okay. So I'm gonna sell kill switch for 4, extra crunchy evidence for 2, and take my weapon for a total of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, taking me to 12, and I'll buy 2 cards and pass back to you.
Okay. I'm going to use Hostin's token, and I won't forget to use it this time. To look at your hand, please.
Okay, so I have forest creatures, and that's an adversary.
What are its activators?
Affiliation.
Okay.
And conspiracy.
Okay.
I have a bluff, the fallen ones, and its activators are conspiracy and sight.
Is it
and
the
that
one
one
that gets a mystic card?
Yeah, remove 1 keyword mystic card. Another bluff, cancerous nosebleed, which adds cancer to one of your agent's keywords, and the health is reduced by 1 for each of the opponent's debriefing phases
Okay.
that the agent spends outside of the hospital. Another bluff is biotoxin on the money, and play this card to apply X tokens of damage to agents at the site. X is the number of resource points spent at this site by the investigating player.
Okay.
And I have an equipment card, sunflower seeds, which adds 2 to agent's health. And the event, all lies lead to the truth.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll cast Hostin's token on cancerous nosebleed.
Okay, as I thought.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay. So no healing, no requisition. For deployment, I'm going to bring everyone out in the field.
Okay.
And for case assignment, we're going to try to do 2 sites. We're going to 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 Air Force Base. It's a new season 5 site. It's Alien Investigation 4+ and method. So that costs 2. And
Okay.
oh well, I'll do. I mean, I think I can do that at any time, but I'm actually going to, before I play the second site, I'm going to pay 2 to play Tools of Science. Attach this card to an agent along with 1 RP token. The RP token may be used to pay for any keyword sciences cards.
Okay.
I'm going to, okay, I'll give it to Skye. It seems fitting because she's on the card.
Right.
And I'll put the token on it. And the second site will be University of Indiana. It costs 1. It's evidence collection or sciences, and it's motive or result. And I'm going to use Tools of Sciences token to pay for that site.
Okay. And what are the keywords on Tools of Science?
Evidence. It's sorry. Event sciences, expenditure, and resource.
Okay. And I'll go ahead and place 1 bluff on the university. Is it the university? The one on the right?
This one, yes, it's a university.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I'll put 1 bluff on that one.
All right. So for investigation phase, I'm going to do this. Yes, I think that's correct. Okay.
Oh wow, Steven said he went to the University of Indiana, Bloomington.
All right, so I'm going to send Skye and Hostin to 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 Air Force Base, and Skye and Burke are going to visit Steven in the University of Indiana. And
Okay.
we'll start the investigation at the 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 Air Force Base. So alien investigation and method, it's alien investigation 4+, and I have just 4. Skye and Hostin each have 2.
Okay. And you're totally free to ask your question.
All right, so it's a method question. Is your method subterfuge?
It is not subterfuge.
Okay. All right, that one goes to the Discord pile. And for the second site investigation, I'm going to, it's evidence collection or sciences motive result. I'm going to go with sciences. It's sciences 5+, and I have 5.
Okay. And this is another one you are free to ask. Because my bluff is biotoxin on the money. And play this card to apply X tokens of damage to agents at this site. It's the number of resources spent at this site. And so you only paid 2, right?
Well, I actually the site was one, and I used Tools of Sciences.
Oh, okay.
But I actually think that regardless of how much the site costs, I think it's maybe you play that bluff, and then maybe if you play another bluff, or if you play an event, and whatever cards that I use during the investigation, that is the amount of damage that you can apply. Like if I use Langley to negate a bluff, it costs 2, so you can apply 2 damage to one of my agents, I think. But
Oh, okay.
yeah, maybe you can ask Steven. I don't think that the cost of the site is taken into consideration, but I might be wrong.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm not sure on.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's all the RP that is spent at the site. So this is not one that gets resolved immediately. It is one kind of like the Mass Grave of the 1013 expansion, where it will remain in play throughout the investigation of this site. And so anytime like Guillaume does play, cards at this site, then you'll be able to apply that towards this card.
Okay, so the intention is just to more so like not play it as a face down bluff,
Well,
but wait for other things to come first.
well, let's see. There is a cost on that one, right? Or is it? It's not an X
Cost of
card.
4, yeah. Cost
Yeah,
of
I mean,
4.
playing it face down, you get the -1 modifier to that. So, I mean, I did, for savings, of course, yeah, playing face down does help. But and actually, that's a good strategy because it will also playing it at this juncture will make Guillaume consider, the detriment of do I really want, is this investigation worth it to me? Do I want to play a card to counter another card? So considering that bluff is in play, and he's also got another site go on the mats. Or wait, you already resolved that one. But yeah, with that card played at this point, he will have to think twice about whether he wants to make a counter to any cards that you do play at this site.
Right, so then played sort of in the older style of maybe having 2 bluffs and you reveal one at a time. And so the first bluff, and then see if he counters it, and then
Or
this
if
one.
you have an adversary or another event that you also intend to play at the site as well. Yes, I mean, yeah, that could
But without the -1 cost for being face down, because you have to reveal the bluffs first, right?
Yeah, I mean you reveal face down bluffs at the site, and you resolve. Well, and Guillaume, of course, does get the option of playing a card first, and then it's back to you, and then back and forth and back and forth. But yes, you pay,
Okay.
you reveal the bluffs, you pay for them, and you resolve them. I mean, if they can be resolved right away, if not, like, and again, this is a case where the bluff will remain in play at the site until the site itself is resolved.
Actually, for those games, do we? I forget. Do we apply the tournament strategy, or the usual strategy where we reveal one bluff at a time, or do we reveal everything at once and pay everything at once?
This is where I break from the gospel manual, and I'm of the opinion that the game is way more enjoyable when you play the bluffs one at a time. I like the strategy that's involved in that. So I mean, I like to leave it as dealer's choice, generally speaking, for these friendly games. But I myself am a fan of revealing and paying for the bluffs one at a time. I won't hold you guys to either method.
What do you prefer, Skye?
Oh, I'm totally fine. One at a time's okay.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, okay, cool. Awesome.
So
okay, thank you, Steven.
This guy is, and again, this is kind of like, again, with Mass Grave, Guillaume, we tend to, like, what for every like the cost, like for Mass Grave, as for instance, like every time the opponent spends a card, that's when we add the CP to it. You could do that as you go, or I guess you could wait till the end. But I think it probably makes more sense to do it as we go, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I guess you could think, so you could think of it in terms of, damage. I would be applying it as you go, as opposed to just waiting till the very end, because I mean the damage could make all the difference, especially when an adversary could be lurking in Skye's hand, which I think one, right?
We definitely know it exists, yeah.
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 Or if the agent already has damage, maybe if for instance, Cancerous Nosebleed has already been played, and the agent already has 2 tokens of damage, like you play Biotoxin of Pneumonia, and you could put some additional damage. So I think it's a good one, but you do have to have other conspiracy cards to play at the site to force your opponent to counter them.
Yeah.
Right.
So it is what, and so as Skye, from where you're sitting at this point, it is some strategy you have to consider. I mean, Guillaume does know what's in your hand, and you know what's in your hand, and you have to decide, like, before you pay for this card, you want to consider whether or not the other cards in your hand are going to be useful to counter Guillaume's investigation at this site. So if you have something in your hand that might be worthwhile to play, then I would definitely pay for this bluff at this point, pay the 3 because you had it face down, knowing that you're going to be playing another card that might be worthwhile. That Guillaume is at that point going to consider, like, am I going to play Frohickey on this? Am I going to play Langley or whatever is lurking in his hand? But if you don't think you've got anything, if you've got nothing that you think is going to be helpful to stopping him, then you might consider, like, yeah, I'm not going to pay for it because I got no other cards in my hand that are going to be of any use to stop you. So Guillaume, for that reason, he won't be inclined to play any cards unless he's got like a friend in the FBI or something he just wants to play to free up his hand so he doesn't have to discard it, perhaps. But he may not be inclined to play any cards, knowing that you are intending to play any cards. So yes, this is a card that does require, like, a bit of forethought and, like, do I want to pay for it? But you got to kind of assess what's in your hand and, like, is there going to be anything else useful that I can play in addition to that card?
Okay.
All right. Good luck, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Cool. So I'm going to discard it because I anticipated a Langley, so that was going to be my cost.
And so the question for that one, I'm going to ask a result question, and
okay.
Is your result? Well, let's go with death.
My result is not death.
I thought maybe go with the obvious question. It might be good, but well, at least it crosses off 9 possibilities, so that's always good. But
yeah.
okay. So the site goes to the Discord file, and moving to debriefing, I have 7 cards in my hand.
Okay, and I'm just going to discard 1 for Cancerous Nosebleed.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't have to worry about hosting. Okay, perfect. Then I'll go ahead and start my turn. I'll draw my card. And I expect Blight.
Blight. No.
Okay.
Yeah. Although you did cover yourself because you did keep 2 agents.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. But I will then only generate a res of 1 then. And I will use, and it's only for this turn, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But, doesn't Langley have 2 res?
No,
you're correct. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, because Blight blocks it, right? Okay.
Yeah, it's only, And actually, do you benefit from you cannot draw 2 cards from order either, right?
Oh. So what is the card? But he's not in the field. He's in the bureau.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's I think part of me is still asleep. So yeah,
that's okay.
So Langley and Pattern do not generate any res, and 1
so
for
that's
hotel and 2 for order to draw cards. Okay, yeah.
Correct. Yep. Okay, so I'll draw those 2. and I won't, of course, buy any other cards. So I'll pass to you to sell and buy.
Okay. I will sell hack into government agencies, which allows me to go through my deck for any expenditure cards.
Okay.
And no secrets here. Play this card on the site. During the case assignment, the directed player must play all cards face up at this site.
Okay.
That's 4. And I'm going to buy 3 cards. Yes. 4 cards.
Okay.
And back to you.
All right. Let's go ahead and give. Oh, interesting. Okay. We're gonna skip healing, and I'm going to send Mulder and Lucius Hartwell into the field and bring Holly Patton back to the bureau.
Okay.
And while, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter whether deployment or case assignment, but as Mulder's in the field, I'm going to give him some sunflower seeds for a cost of 4. And that adds 2 to his health. And I can discard this card to negate 1 occult creature.
Okay.
And for case assignments, I will play, again, the same thing as you, University of Indiana, Bloomington, Illinois. And I'll use Mulder's token for that.
Sciences, evidence collection, result. Okay. Right, 1 bluff on that side.
Okay. And I will send everyone there. So for, and sorry, I didn't read the effects, but or the keywords. Is that okay?
Yes, I just looked at the one in my list file.
Perfect. Okay, I assume so. So I will go for evidence collection 5+, and I'm currently at 2, 4, 6 total, and they're all investigating.
All right, so the bluff is Roy Con. Increase a site prerequisite by 1 point for each agent without a bureaucracy skill value. In addition, if the team fails the site skill check, your opponent must discard 1 active card from their hand. It costs 4, but it's 3 since it was face down, puts me down to 6.
Okay. And now for Langley's effect, is it only for face down, just like Mike asked? Does it have to be face down random, or?
No, to me, it's like you can choose. You could. No, you could choose to remove.
I assume so. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So all right, I'm gonna use the Langley's effect on that then.
Yeah, makes sense. I figured you would.
Yeah.
But I needed to find a way to get rid of that token somehow, and it's
right.
Before we started the game, I was like, the mailman could maybe be used to remove Langley's token, but if Langley's token is still there, Langley's token is going to be used to negate the mailman. So
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to play another bluff face up. I'm going to
Okay.
play the BETF refuses to play ball. It costs 3. I'm going to play the full cost. Play this card to prevent all keyword-independent agents from contributing to any skill checks occurring at this site, including combat.
Okay. Let's see.
The keywords
What's
are
yes, thank you.
bureaucracy and primordial,
Okay.
and bluff.
Okay. Well, then I guess that one is unsuccessful. Yep. So I'm unsuccessful there.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead.
Effective. That's one effective bluff.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
And just to be safe and future-proof, to try, I'll play this witness, Dr. Zuckerman. So just play this witness in the hospital, and it's a resource. Once per turn during your healing phase, use this card to gain one of the following effects: heal 1 additional point of damage, remove 1 game effect token, or remove an afflicted keyword like cancer or insanity from an agent in the hospital. No effect right now, but want to use my resources while they're there.
Yeah, good thinking.
Yep. And then I have 4 cards in hand and nothing to discard.
I have 6 cards.
Cool. Great. I'll pass to you.
Okay, so I'm drawing my free card. Going to generate my res, which is 5. It's me at 9. And I'll buy I'll buy 2 cards.
Okay.
And passing it back to you.
Okay. I will sell All Lies Lead to the Truth for 2. And I will buy 3 cards.
Okay. So no healing, no requisition. For deployment, I'm keeping everyone in the field. I'm going to pay 2 to play Spiritual Consult. Attach this card to an agent along with 1 RP token. And it's the same as Tool of Sciences, but it's for occult investigation cards.
Okay.
And I'm going to give it to Hostin.
Okay.
And I'm also bringing the team back together.
Okay.
For deployment, we are going to Coates Grove, Michigan. It costs 1. It has the keyword behavioral and occult investigation.
And what kind of site is it?
Yeah, hold on.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so we're still going to Codesgrove. Behavioral occult investigation, affiliation method, and I'm going to use the token from Spiritual Consult to pay for that one.
Okay. I will play Distrust first for 2. Play this card during your opponent's case assignment phase. 2 agents, your choice, may not contribute to any of the same skill checks this turn.
All right, so who do you want to use that one on?
Who are your 2 biggest for those?
For occult, Hostin and Burke.
Okay, then I'll choose those 2.
Okay.
And I will, let's see, place, let's see, 1 bluff as well at that site.
I'm going to use Scully's token to look at one of Scully's tokens to look at that bluff.
Okay, it is Dial and Smile. Force your opponent to discard 1 witness resource in play. In addition, adversaries with the activator witness may ignore activator requirements to attack agents at this site.
Okay, and you have 8 conspiracy.
Yep.
All right. Okay, well, I'm not going to go investigate.
Okay.
Because I have no way to counter the forest creatures that you have in your hand and that you have enough before. And the forest creature will, since they attack the strongest agent, that will be Scully.
Yep.
And I was fine with her going to the hospital because Burke and Hostin could make the skill check. But since they cannot contribute to the same skill check, then I won't be able to pass that anyway. So I might as well save an agent.
Yep. Protector.
Yeah. So Codesgrove remains.
Hang on a sec, Guillaume. Do you have a witness resource? If you do, I didn't notice it.
No, I don't.
Well, that card's primary effect is that you're forced to discard 1.
But I figured.
But in addition, if an adversary, if I had an adversary with the activator witness, I can ignore the activator requirements.
Yeah, to play the adversary, but the first part of the bluff card would have to take place in order to get the benefit of the second part. But I guess I was just trying to figure out Guillaume's thought process there on that one.
Oh, the bluff did not factor in to my thought process.
Okay. All right, just checking here, and also because I'm taking notes of every card that gets played, and I knew Skye played Dr. Zuckerman. Bravo on that, by the way. But yeah, I was just like, wait,
for you.
Play I didn't notice. All right, carry on, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's great.
And hello, David Pease. Big play so far. Maybe just that.
Well, that was an effective use of me knowing that you do have that adversary plus the distrust card. Yeah, that was a good combo. Yeah. So Codesgrove remains in play with the bluff attached to it, and we can move on to the debriefing phase. And I have 7 cards.
And I have 4.
All right, passing it to you then.
Cool. So I'll start. I'll draw my card. No other blights?
No.
Okay. Great. So then I'll generate 4 total, taking me to 5. And I'll use Molder's 2 to buy only 2 cards and pass to you.
I'm going to sell the shotgun for 6, a Scully family gathering for 2, and warning from the future for 5. So that's a total of 13.
Okay.
Puts me at 16. And I'm going to purchase, let's say, 4 cards.
Okay.
5 cards and final word.
Okay.
And back to you.
All right. This card sounds pretty cool. I'm going to play another witness. It's Dr. 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 for 4. And place this card in your bureau section along with 2 tokens. Remove a token to select 1 card from your discard pile and place it in your hand. If the chosen card has the keyword alien, investigation, or behavioral, the cost to play it is reduced by 1.
Yeah, that's a nice one. Basically, like 2 pattern search.
Yep. And so I'm going to use one of them, unfortunately, to draw a site. But yep. So I'll take Bloomington, Indiana back. And I'll actually use it one more to take distrust back.
Okay.
And
Something to
then
look
when
forward.
yeah, something to look forward to. And then I guess he's discarded after, right?
Yes, I think
There's no other
one.
tokens, so yeah, cool. Then for healing, nothing to heal, nothing to requisition. But let's deploy Holly Patton back in the field. And everyone's out there. I'll play that Bloomington, Indiana. And I'll use Mulder's token to pay for it. And that's, again, evidence collection 5+, or science is 5+ for motive or result.
It's, I have 2 bluffs for that side.
Okay. And you're currently at 11 CP. Okay. Let's put 2. Okay. Then I will not investigate at this time.
Okay.
And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards in hand. So I'll pass back to you. Anything to discard?
No, just 7 cards.
Perfect.
Okay, so I'm doing my free card. I'm going to generate my res, which is 5.
I think this Werber card is definitely going to be one that, because a lot of people don't like witnesses, I think he's going to be one for sure people will use.
Yes, I think even starting with season 4, there was many interesting witnesses in that expansion, and I think Steven managed to continue with season 5. So hopefully, yeah, people will be able to, well, will be willing to include more witnesses in others.
Yeah, that's pretty powerful.
Yeah. I'm going to buy 2 cards.
Okay.
And passing it back to you.
All right. And just as I really promoted witnesses, I'm going to sell a witness in Visigoth for 3. And I'm going to sell Seeds of Diversion for 3 as well, for a total of 6. Taking me to 14. And I will not buy any cards.
Okay. I'm going to play Aura Photography for 1. If the team makes a Sciences 4+ skill check, add 5 tokens to your resource pool. And well, Skye and Burke make that skill check alone.
Yeah.
So, right, no healing, no requisition. Everyone stays in the field, and for a case assignment, we are going to go investigate the Lorton Penitentiary Hospital Ward in Lorton, Virginia. It's medical 4+ and motive. It costs 2. I'm going to pay it from my pool.
Okay, motive. So first, of course, let's play Distrust. And we'll choose, I assume it's Skye and Burke who have the most medical.
I don't know. Do you want me to confirm that, or? If you're certain, I'm not saying anything, and if you ask me, I'll tell you.
Well, I don't know the other new one between Burke and Hosteen. What is the third one's medical skill?
Kresge, he doesn't have any medical. So
do
you want me to read the medical of each of them?
Oh wait, does Hosteen have medical too? What's Hosteen's medical?
It's 2.
Oh, okay. Let's choose your 2 highest. I assume it's Hosteen and Skye.
Okay.
Fingers crossed.
Burke does not have any medical, so good choice.
Okay, good call. And I use Burke so much, I should have known that. He's the science man in computer. And then I'll also place 1 bluff on that site.
Right, I'm going to use one of Skye's tokens to look at that bluff.
Okay, so this one is the death card, which adds 4 to my conspiracy pool.
Okay. Right, so I'm going to send everyone to the site, and let's see what happens.
Okay, cool. So then it's a cost of 2, but face down 1. So I'll just add 3, taking me to 15.
So the prerequisite is medical 4+, and well, since Hosteen and Skye cannot contribute to the same skill check, Skye will contribute 4 medical.
Skye, So Scully and Hosting can't
Yeah, so
contribute.
yeah, so Skye contributes her skills without hosting. So without hosting, I have. Oh, hold on.
Yeah, it's two agents. Your choice may not contribute to any of the same skill checks this turn.
But does that mean that at least one of them can contribute to the skill check? That's what I assume.
Well, because you had all 4 agents there, 2 of them, my choice may not contribute.
Oh, okay, but to the same skill check. So if I say hosting cannot, if I say hosting does not contribute, then can Skye still contribute? Maybe, yeah, maybe Steven can.
Well, he has to contribute because he's at the site, right? He's on the team.
So the way it works is that the agents can't like combine their skills toward any skill check, whether it be a site skill check or a non-site skill check. But the investigating player will get to decide still who gets to apply their skills, but it just won't be. Okay. It'll just be that the agents, those 2 agents chosen by you, Skye, will not be combining their skills together. It'll just be one or the other, because the idea is that they don't trust each other enough to work together. So therefore, they're not combining their skills as a team.
Okay.
Do you think, and I thought, and maybe I'm thinking of a different card, that I thought we said something, we had a second sentence where it said like the, didn't we have another, like, am I thinking of another card? Maybe was this in Blackwood or something where we say like the investigating player decides who contributes to what's, or am I just misremembering that?
Isn't that 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 something?
That might have been what I'm thinking of. Let me just pull that up, because maybe what we need to do is apply that same, if space permitted. Okay, yeah, Jana Cassidy, place a token on this card at any time during the game. Remove a token to select 2 opposing agents in the field. The 2 chosen agents may not contribute to the same skill check, including combat, for the remainder of the turn. That's the version I have. It doesn't specify there. I could have sworn we had an additional sentence tacked on it, or maybe I'm just misremembering that. But do we think that needs to be included on there?
So what would you include?
For clarification, sorry, I'm going back and forth between photo albums to pull up these cards. So yeah, the 2 agents may not contribute to any of the same skill checks this turn. The investigating player decides, well, I don't know. Do you think we need to have an additional
I don't know, like to me, I understood is that which is why I sent everyone. I was like, I'm going to be using Skye for the skill check, but I'll still send hosting, because let's say, I don't know, for whatever reason I need to make an occult investigation 4+ skill check, then hosting will be there. Skye will be able to contribute to that skill check, but hosting still will contribute with Burr or Kresge, for instance.
Yes, correct. So if combat happens, or like unexpected time loss happens at this site, like so Skye and hosting are not going to be contributing together towards any of those. Like one or the other will be contributing for each skill check that's going to happen at this site, but it will only be one of them. So again, it's a matter of like the agent's skills are not going to be combined together to make a skill check. It'll just be one agent or the other. Mike wants clarification on it. Go ahead and Skye, if you have it in front. And I was still trying to find another instance where I thought we had an additional sentence on there, but go ahead.
So distrust. Play this card during your opponent's case assignment phase. 2 agents, your choice, may not contribute to any of the same skill checks this turn.
Okay. So what about you, Skye? What are your thoughts?
So that makes sense to me. I think the confusing part is because in normal games, I've never had anyone have agents on a team at a site choose not to contribute to the skill check, because I probably haven't encountered a card similar to distrust, because it's always been usually like if everyone's on the team, then they all combine and do that. So that interaction I haven't encountered. So I assume it's in the rule book, of course, and so like an agent may decide not to contribute their skills, and that's okay, and that's totally okay. I've never encountered it. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just new for me. So that's why distrust's wording threw me for a loop.
Go ahead, Guillaume.
Yeah, I would have hosting contribute to the skill check, but I'm prevented from that because of the card. Otherwise, I think you're right. You would not be able to say, okay, hosting has 2 medical, but I'm only using skill medical to investigate the site. There would be no point. And I agree. Once you send the agent, you're all in. Like, you cannot say, okay, I'm not using the agent for a reason. But I think maybe looking at card troubles, like it says, because maybe it has sort of a similar effect, like all agents remain on the team, but just some agents can contribute. And for card troubles, it does say any extra agent remain on the team, but may not contribute their skills to any skill check this turn. And this one says to the same skill check. So I think the difference is maybe it's there. Like distrust was was effective during the previous turn because Brooke and hosting together, there were 6 occult investigation, but since they could not contribute to that skill check, I failed that skill check. Since Skye has 4 medical, she alone can contribute. So,
yeah, and it makes sense. And I think Mike has a good thing that I would add the word combined or together.
Yes, and I meant to put that up. I was waiting for I wanted to give you guys both a chance to weigh in. Now, I might need some assistance in how exactly would we phrase that with Mike's suggestion.
All right, so maybe 2 agents, your choice, may not combine their skills to the same skill check. To the same skill checks this turn.
So
I would say together this turn.
So replace the word contribute with may not combine their skills together. May not combine their skills. Sorry, go ahead.
I think contribute is okay. I would just add to together after skill checks. So between skill checks and this turn, add the word together or combine.
May not contribute to any of the same skill checks together this turn.
Yeah.
Little awkward. I mean, reads a little awkward.
Or at the end. Yeah.
Go ahead. Do you have another idea? Or Mike, you're watching, if you have the card in front of you, so the second sentence, 2 agents, your choice, may not contribute to any of the same skill checks this turn. Where would you insert the words the wording you suggested? Feel free to give us a greater clarification. I see, like, it does certainly, it does seem to make more sense. And in fact, I might, if we can reach a consensus on this, I might also let Dax make Dax aware of that, because the Agent Jaina Cassidy card is pretty much the exact same wording for that agent card, at least the version that I have. So we might consider amending that one as well for consistency's sake.
Or 2 agents, your choice combined, may not contribute to any of the same skill checks this turn.
Combined.
Either word is a little awkward, I think, anywhere in the sentence, but I mean, there's no better word for it.
Okay. Well, again, Mike may not be able to type this fast, but Mike, if you have a specific like if you can give us an example of how you would include that in there, that would be very helpful, and then we can see if we can clarify that a little bit. It works, like as you said, it worked the previous round, no problem. And apparently, I mean, if I recall, we did use Janet Cassidy in playtesting for Blackwood, but I can't recall specifics if that came up. But nevertheless, I mean, this is a great opportunity to make sure that we have a chance to clarify both of these two cards. Should we come up with a better way to make it clear? But as of right now, I'll put that down as like a question to consider. Maybe we can come back to it at the end of the game. But for the moment, though, are we okay with the understanding that so Guillaume is only going to be able to allow either Skye or hosting to contribute to this site skill check at this site?
Yep, totally.
Cool. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. And thank you, Mike, too. Yes. Do let us know if you got some more ideas, like how we could refine that sentence better. Thanks.
It's always one of those instances where you want to be as concise as possible for the game effect, but sometimes you're like, but if this happens or this happens, but then you end up with something like just, you cannot.
It's a big hypothetical what if list.
It's really difficult sometimes. Or sometimes you have a really good effect in mind, but you're like, but I need to say if this happens and if this happens, so you're like, okay, I'm just giving it all up altogether.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I could never imagine making a digital card game where there's certain interactions like that, where if A, if B, and I'm like, that's too much for me.
Right. So Skye was making the Skye contributes for 4 to the site skill check.
Right. Okay. And so then that is successful.
Okay.
After all that.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a motive question. Let's see which question will allow me to cross off the most.
Thank you too to 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 for tuning in. Have fun in Florida. All right. Motive.
Okay, well, is your motive survival?
It is survival.
Oh, well, okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Great. Would you like to take a guess at my X-File?
No.
Okay. I only have you down to 34, so it's a bit of a close game.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like maybe I would if it was a regular game. Although I've been burned with penalty questions before, but since it's a playtest game, I'm like,
let's keep it going.
Yeah, absolutely. Because imagine if I asked the right identity question after spending so much time building the deck and getting where we are, like.
Exactly. Round 2.
Yeah.
And if you don't mind, I'm going to run to the restroom really quick. I'll be back.
Yeah, sure. That will give me some time to finish crossing off. I mean, Steven, if you want to come back, so that I don't know.
I'll come back. I'll come back in. All right. So just to, I do have some questions just to follow up on the previous playtest that we came up with, Guillaume. And I know because you got your own set that you're emulating from this one as you go. So let's talk about the, this is very nuanced, but I think it's worth a discussion, for us as creators of these cards. Now, let's talk with sites and bluffs, for which, unlike events, which use all caps for their card titles, what are your feelings with regards to capitalizing the first letter of irrelevant words like the or of, and most especially of, when we're talking about sites, because we have examples in the commercially released cards like University of Maryland, which the word of is capitalized, or we have outskirts of Atlantic City, New Jersey, for which the word of is not capitalized.
Okay, so I might not be the best person to say it because it's it's mostly a feeling and not like a rule that I have in my mind. But it just feels weird to me. Like for instance, for University of Indiana, I'm looking at the code, and to me it would feel weird to have the capital O on up. So I mean, I would just not use the capital letter for words like that.
Okay. Yeah, it does feel weird to me, which is, I mean, as you see with the cards, my first draft, I do not do that. But yet we have a very specific example in the commercially released cards. We have University of Maryland, and we have University of Indiana, and so it's like my gut almost tells me, I'm like, yeah, I should, like, this is a very clear-cut example for which I should be like going with what the commercial release cards do. But then again, they were not consistent because like 2 out of 3 sites for which the word "of" is featured, 2 of them it was capitalized, 1 wasn't. So it wasn't unanimous across the board with that for their sites. But I just wanted to know, like, what would, like, for your versions, like, are you planning to apply capitalization or not?
No, I wouldn't.
Now, how about the bluffs? We're gonna have some examples. BTF 2 play ball is one example, obviously.
For that one, I did capitalize the 2.
Okay. Now, again, for anyone who might be like, oh, well, what do they do with the commercially released cards? It's not entirely consistent. Most of the bluffs in the commercially released sets, they did capitalize every word in the card titles for the bluffs, where there was maybe like a couple of exceptions. Ghost in the Machine, the bluff, they did not. That's the only one that comes to mind. There might have been a bluff in 1013 that they didn't do it, but the overwhelming majority of bluffs, they capitalized every word in it. What do you say on that, Guillaume? And then I'll bring in Skye.
Well, I'm looking at the season 5 bluffs, and
see, for anyone like watching this, maybe uninteresting, but for us, it's like we really do like dissect every little aspect of these cards when we are making our own, because we want to be as faithful as possible. Sorry, go ahead, Guillaume.
For instance, I'm looking. We have Courage in a Bottle. For instance, I did not capitalize in or and for Compliments of 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, I did not capitalize of. And you get Hail to the Section Chief, and I didn't capitalize to or the. Or a shot at the 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, I did not capitalize at or the. So yeah, I think the BFT refuses to play ball. Actually, I think I should uncapitalize too. Okay,
so it sounds like you're probably just going to not capitalize those irrelevant words, right? For your bluff. Okay. I think you and I should probably, like err on the side of consistency, at least for ours. I mean, the commercially released sets did not, by and large, have a chief source of consistency for what they were doing with them. It was probably just one of those that they it just like one of those small nuances that just probably never even occurred in the course of it. In some of the card types, they capitalize every letter of every word in the card titles. Like I think the events are one of them, right?
Well, events are all caps, so that's
the events are all caps, so it's a non-issue with regards to events. But most of the other ones, I think, are they don't use all caps. So
looking at the season 4 bluffs, for instance, I also did not capitalize all words. Like we have writing on the ball, and I did not capitalize on the. Or maybe we are hanging in the balance, and I did not capitalize.
I did not. Yeah.
I think we should also look at whatever we did for season 4 on the cards that released. And
for season 4, I was not consistent with the capitalization on the bluffs or the sites. So if anything, I was consistent with the commercially released cards by not being consistent. So, but it's too late to change that. I will not have Dax be issuing reprints just based on that alone.
Like for instance,
strangle me somehow. He would hop on a plane, come over here to the States, and then wring my neck. So we're not having that happen. Sorry, go ahead, Guillaume.
Yeah, on he had a date, for instance, it would feel weird to me to have capitalized. But I also have in the crosshairs, and I did capitalize and I think that's the only instance of a card where I capitalized like that. So I don't know. I think sometimes it just feels strange to me, at least, to capitalize those words. But I would say from now on, like in the or whatever of, I would not capitalize them on bluffs.
All right, it's fair enough. And of course, anyone who's watching, if you feel like you want to have an opinion on it, I certainly welcome. But I know it's a very minute aspect of these cards. But John Yost, who's actually going to be doing a playtest tomorrow, which I'll plug at the end of this game. Thank you for tuning in, John. I am just referring back to the distrust card because you had something with it. But perhaps change the word to on may not contribute on any of the same skill checks. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, I think that's what John is saying. Yeah,
contribute on any of the same skill checks.
Yeah, that one might feel. I don't recall an instance of the commercially released card saying to contribute on or to come. Well, it's usually to the same skill check or to the skill check.
Yeah, usually it's contribute to.
But I agree that combine might be. Yeah, I think it might be the way to go. Two agents may not combine their skills to the same skill checks. That way,
Mike did. And I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to miss Daryl here. He did say if the of is part of the proper name, like University of, then it should be capitalized. Correct. Kind of depends on who you ask on that, Daryl. But the example in the commercial release cards, University of Maryland, they did do that. But they didn't do it for outskirts of Atlantic City, so we're just kind of like, what do we do on that? Sorry, go back to Mike. I do realize I missed your suggestion earlier, which going back to that, Mike did say play this card during your opponent's case assignment phase. Agents, your choice may not combine their skills to any of the same skill checks this turn. I mean that. Oh, well, I'll bring in Skye since he was part of that play earlier. So Skye, we might have something there. What do you think on Mike's suggestion there for distrust? If you still have it in your
wow.
What do you think
for distrust? I don't know about the word on. I wouldn't change the word to on.
Yeah, I'm not feeling that. It doesn't seem like it clears up. Nice try though, John. I do appreciate leaning in. But Mike here pretty much gave us an alternate phrasing for the entire. For that second sentence. But what do you think about what he's got there?
Well, so for play this card during your opponent's case assignment phase, the agents, I think it should be two agents. Still, as worded, two agents, your choice, may not combine their skills to any of the same skill checks this turn. That sounds okay. Okay. As long as it's two agents and we recapitalize everything, then it's okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're not changing the first sentence. That's the same. Two agents, your choice, may not combine their skills to any of the same skill checks this turn. What do you say, Guillaume?
Yeah, I think it works. That way it makes it clear that the agents, you are free to combine the agent skills with other agents on the team, but not the two agents together. So,
okay.
In this case, Scully and Austin cannot combine their skills, but Austin can combine his skill with Kresge and Burke, and Scully can combine her skills with Burke and Kresge also. Yeah.
Okay.
And as well too about the conversation of like capitalizing like of and the. I think so I had two examples. So like seeds of diversion, the of is perfect, like small o. Lowercase o, and then the death card, the capital T, I think is okay because it starts the phrase, it starts the card. Yeah. But then looking at University of Indiana, that of should be lowercase. I think it was maybe like a mistake in the commercially released cards. But then I wanted to research what they actually have on their website. So I tried to find the University of Indiana Bloomington, and it says Indiana University Bloomington. Is that the same university or different?
Yeah, I think when of course when they were filming in Vancouver, and they of course this is in the 90s, and of course maybe they just decided not to like pull up IUB's website. If it even, I'm sure it existed at that point. They probably was like, they probably saw it on a map or something. Like,
Okay.
that.
But if you look at University of Maryland on their website, it is the lowercase.
Yeah. And same with mine too, where I went. So
yeah. But I just wanted to note that of the 3 commercially released sites where the word "of" appears, 2 out of 3 are capitalized. One is not.
And I think it's a misprint, just like the white box on the pictures of cards. I think it's a little miss.
Yeah. And like I said, I did not apply consistency to them when I was doing season 4. It just never really occurred to me for some reason. But it did in the course of doing this expansion, specifically in the last game when we had the BATF refuses to play ball, and that for some reason that one registered it all for me, and that's when I started to ponder it, and so now here we are. So yeah, so it might be continuing to do what I think what you guys are suggesting. Well, the relevant words that are not the first word in the card title, we'll just probably not capitalize those ones going forward. Like I said, too late to do anything about that for some of the season 4 cards, for which there are going to be some outliers here or there, but you know what? We'll have to live with them. Again, I want to thank Mike. I want to thank John Yost. I want to thank Daryl. All of you guys weighing in. This is great stuff. I really appreciate you guys contributing to the live chat in the course. This is really helpful in helping us refine these cards. So shall we get back to the game?
Yep.
All right, carry on, guys. And
all right, so this site is discarded.
Yep.
And moving on to the debriefing phase. I have 8 cards, so I need to discard something.
Okay, and I have 3.
I'm going to discard resist or serve. Place this card next to your X-File. Add 5 tokens to your conspiracy pool. Every time you, as the directed player, play 1 keyword government card and 1 keyword alien card at the same site.
Ooh.
Yeah. It is specific. It is specific, but the card only costs 1. So if you stack your deck with alien and government cards, yeah,
that's the ones to use.
Yeah. All right, so your turn.
Right. Yep, I'll go ahead, draw my card, and I'll generate my res of 4 and use Mulder's 2 to buy 2 cards and pass over to you.
I'm going to sell the 2x video camera for 5.
Okay.
And I'll purchase 3 cards.
Okay.
3 cards.
Okay. Nothing to heal, nothing to requisition. I'll have all the agents still in the field. Let's see. Okay. And I will let's see. First, I will pay 2 to play Welcome to Hackland. Attach this card to an agent along with 1 resource point. This resource may be used to pay for any keyword computer cards. If you use this resource point, replace it during your briefing phase. And I'll attach that to our boy Langley. And for case assignments, let's go ahead and I'll play Fells Point Industrial Park, Baltimore, Maryland. It's Computer 5+ or Subterfuge 5+. And that's for method or results. And I'll use Hackland's point for that. And the other is, I don't know how to say this, Amaz Beach. That's Occult Investigation 5+ or Observation 5+ for affiliation or method. And I paid 1 for that.
All right. So computer subterfuge, occult observation, method
Yep.
result, affiliation method. Okay. So.
And I currently have 3 sites out, so.
Yeah. Right, no bluffs.
No bluffs. Okay. So let's go ahead then. And I'll send Langley and let's go ahead and send Langley and Patton to Fells Point.
Okay.
And Mulder and Hartwell to Amas Beach.
Okay. All right, so which side do you want to invest?
First, let's start with, let's do Fells Point. So
Okay.
computer 5+, and I have 6.
I'm going to play face up instant message from beyond.
Okay.
3. Play to increase the site prerequisite by 1 point for each agent on the team that has a computer skill value.
Okay. And what are the keywords on that card?
Computer and phenomena and bluff.
Okay. Okay. So it takes it up to 7, which I cannot reach. So I'll discard Fells Point. Now the tricky part, moving over to Amas Beach, I will go for, I guess, occult investigation. But unfortunately, it's only 4. And so that one is already unsuccessful.
But no, because if Outwell gains +1 to occult.
Good catch. Thank you. I kept looking at the very bottom of placing 1 token to discard. Thank you. So yep. So perfectly 5 then. Thank you.
And the keywords on that are affiliation and method, right?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, well, let's do this. We'll see. I'm going to pay 9 to play Stiletto for hire.
Okay.
All right, so it's adversary. The keywords are adversary, alien, creature, and master, and the activators are conspiracy and method site.
Okay.
Can you negate that card?
I cannot negate it.
All right, so we'll see how this plays out. I would have wanted to play it on a weaker team, but we'll see. So each, I have 0 long range, 6 close range, and a health of 8. So
Okay.
each source of damage affecting this adversary in close range combat also causes 1 damage to each opposing agent involved in the combat because he has poisonous blood. Damage caused by this adversary may be split among 2 opponents, my choice. And this adversary may use subterfuge combat cards, but with only one conspiracy point remaining. Let's say I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
All right, so for long range, I have 0 long range, and you have 5, correct?
5. Yep, I got 5.
All right, so I only have 3 health remaining. And for close range, I'm going to deal 6 damage to, well, Mulder has the has an
Sunflower seeds.
Yeah, so Mulder has a health of basically 7.
Yep.
And I deal 6 damage, but I think because of the poisonous blood, Mulder and Hartwell each receive 1 additional point of damage. So maybe bring Steven in just to make sure, but I think that's the way it should be.
I'm here, Guillaume.
All right, so we moved on to close range. So I have 6 close range damage that I can deal. Mulder has a health of basically 7 because he has the sunflower seed.
Correct.
So I deal, let's say I deal 6 damage to Mulder, but Mulder and Hartwell also each receive 1 point of damage because of the poisonous blood, correct?
In close range combat, yes. And so you're applying that damage at the same, so in the combat subroutine, so each of you guys, assesses like, okay, my team has this much combat, the adversary has this much combat. Do you have any combat cards you want to play at this point? Either you play those combat cards if you have any, and if both, no. And then at that point, you assign damage simultaneously. So yes, including in this case, the 1 additional point during close range because they have poisonous blood. So effectively, yeah, if you do decide you want to apply all of that damage to Mulder, that would be enough. Of course, the Stiletto for Hire does allow for splitting.
Yeah, but if I do split, then I need to send at least 1 agent to the hospital. Well, I could send Lucius Hartwell, but then I would just be wasting 1 point of damage. So I'm going to apply the 6 damage to Mulder, plus the additional poisonous blood, enough to send him to the hospital, and Hartwell the point of damage because of the poisonous blood.
All right. Hartwell would go down to then 4 health. And then, and because I never actually use equipment, is equipment discarded in when they go to the hospital?
No,
it is not.
Oh, cool.
It is when you go to the gulag, though.
Okay.
And also,
go ahead.
Because agents can leave the hospital when they have a health of 3 or higher, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. But since Mulder had a health of 7, does that mean that when you you get to remove 2 points of damage during each healing phase. But if Mulder has a health of 7, during Skye's next healing phase, he removes 2. He heals 2 points, so he's only at 5. So basically, he remains in the hospital for 1 more turn. Because usually Mulder, since he heals 2 damage, we can usually bring him out of the hospital if we want. We can bring him out during the second turn.
Yeah.
Well, so what's going to happen though with Dr. Zuckerman is once per turn during that healing phase, I'm going to heal an additional point.
All right, so you do have
as well.
All right,
but
so
it is worth noting because, and this isn't a knock on the sunflower seeds, because we obviously have the dried frog as part of the equipment in the 1013 expansion that adds 1 to an agent's health. So it does sort of beg the same question. When an agent who has the dried frog is sent to the hospital, let's say it's an agent who normally has, let's say an agent has like a health of 4 or more, right? And they have the dried frog attached to them. They get sent to the hospital as a result of combat.
So when Mulder comes out with 3, he actually has 5.
Well, continuing on with my explanation. So in the next healing phase, the agent who has normally a health of 4, he'll heal 2, but at that point, the dried frog adds 1 to the health. So I'm just wondering, is that at that point, does the agent is considered to have a health of 3 so they can get out of the hospital, or do you deduct?
I mean, the way I would think about it is equipment is really separate from his like physical health.
Okay.
And so then if he has 2 and he's still like munching on something, and then when I use Zuckerman's 1 point, then he's at 3. He's totally like at 3 normally. So he could normally come out, but that equipment card still is unchanged. We're adding 2 to his health.
Or is it a situation like, because equipment cards, you don't normally use them, or they can't be used while the agent's in the hospital. So is it just not applicable at all while the agent is in the hospital? And
yeah,
then
so while it's while he if
leaves the hospital, then you reapply that +1 for the dried frog, or in this case, the +2 for the sunflower seeds. Go ahead, Skye.
So for example, if I didn't have Dr. Zuckerman and or hospital crash card or something like that, if it was just Mulder in the hospital, I think it would take 2 turns to get him up to 4 health, and then he could come out, and then he would have 6 with the sunflower seeds. But because of this situation with Zuckerman, he's at 3. So without Zuckerman, it takes 2 turns to bring Mulder back out.
But basically, do you put 7 damage tokens on Mulder, or do you place 5?
I would say 5.
I would say 5. I mean, my gut is telling me 5 because I just think the equipment, which you can't use in the hospital unless, Lux Video can be in the one exception. And of course, crash cart, but that's automatically a hospital card. My feeling was that the card is not applicable, so the agent's health is not increased by that equipment card while they're in the hospital. My feeling, but like I said, for this card and for the dried frog of 1013, that we would have to reach a consensus on that. I don't have a sure footing. My feel like I kind of like I'm in agreement with you, Skye. I don't think the equipment card should require healing to be done in order for it to be usable
again.
Yeah, that's to me that's
a big hindrance. Then why would I ever use equipment?
And it just seems really awkward to like that you have to heal that additionally to get the benefit of the dried frog or the sunflower seed. That to me feels,
that's like an uphill battle on top of the hospital.
I mean, for dried frog, it could be a big. Usually, we apply dried frog to agents with a health of 3 to make them strong. Yeah. And in that case, actually being having dried frog be used in the hospital to permanently increase the agent would allow the agent to maybe heal faster, because agents with a health of 3 only heal 1, whereas agents with a health of 4 heal 2. So for dried frog, so if dried frog was attached to, let's say, Hostin, bringing his health to 4, and Hostin is sent to the hospital, would I say he only heals 1 point because his health is 3, or would I say he heals 2 points because dried frog is there and he has a health of 4 now?
That's a good point. Gosh, I'm trying to think. I don't know. I can't think of any game where we've actually had that happen. Maybe it has an idea of how we thought of.
Does dried frog's card text say it changes the permanent health?
Yeah, because we have to change, because you're right. That was what I wanted to say. We do have sometimes it says permanent health. So
yeah, so I think permanent health is that unique case there.
I think that was only on unnatural aging that we saw that phrase.
For the frog, it only says adds 1 to the agent's health.
Okay.
I think we have permanent health, and I might be mistaken, but I think it's usually for conspiracy cards, and it says permanent health, and the health cannot be decreased below 1.
Yeah, that's unnatural aging. Well, I'm gonna also let Mike weigh in on this, because apparently Mike has a large sum of dried frogs in his possession. In fact, his playtest game that he's playing tomorrow, I believe all the cards that you're going to see that have playtest cards placed on top of them are going to be dried frogs, apparently. So, I mean, he seems to be an expert on dried frogs. So Mike says, I think he gets the 7 damage. It's up to you. It's up to you to discard the equipment and go down in hell. I mean, it's not bad. That's not bad. He's 90%. He's 90% of his cards are dried frogs. Okay.
Can you willfully discard a card attached to agent though? Like, I'm not sure. Like, could I, for instance, say, okay,
you asked me that previously. Yeah. I'm like,
I've never heard that. Like, oh, I don't want this anymore. It's out.
Yeah,
I've never seen that.
Easy, because
never seen that.
Let's say the attached card has a keyword that allows your opponent to play a conspiracy card, then it would be just too easy to say, well, you know, I'm just discarding it and you can play your card.
Like the taped intelligence, where it has, like, for government adversaries, like, hey, I'm going to play government adversary. Nope, I'm discarding. No, I'm going to discard it now. No, come on, I don't think you can just willy-nilly discard.
Yeah.
I think I'll take Mike's suggestion under advisement, because I think, Guillaume, when you brought up the dried frog and how, like, yes, it does make an agent's, like a Hostin or a Burke, it does increase their health to 4, which I like the idea that if once they go to the hospital, they can heal twice as fast because they have the dried frog attached to them.
But in the case of sunflower seeds, it would actually be less useful for Mulder, because it would mean that he would stay in the hospital for 1 extra turn, bearing any other healing cards. But,
no, he just has to have a minimum of 3 health to leave the hospital.
Let's say Mulder goes to the hospital, let's say sunflower seed is not attached, so Mulder has 5 damage tokens on him. During Skye's next healing phase, he heals 2, so has a health of so he heals 2. He has 3 damage token. He has a health of 3, so he can leave the hospital at that point. Correct?
Yeah.
But if the sunflower seed is attached to Mulder and he has 7 damage, so if you remove 2, he still has 5 damage tokens. So he has to stay in the hospital until the next healing phase at least. So basically, in case of sunflower seeds, if we put 7 tokens of damage, it will actually be less useful for Mulder, I think.
Yeah, it would. Huh.
And but I think too, in the spirit of, like, the game, like, would something like equipment, regardless of it being like sunflower seeds, like, when does that become a detriment to using that effect then? Is that just the risk you take when you play the equipment card or the resource card? That it'll work against you if you're in the hospital?
Well, I think usually it doesn't. Well, usually equipment, most of the time they add to an agent's skill, so it doesn't make any difference whether the agent is in the hospital or not. But,
Right. But in cases of dried frog or sunflower seeds where they're healing.
Yeah, I
or
think
like
for dried frog,
or
it could
health.
actually, as I said, maybe be good for the agent to actually benefit from dried frog, whereas sunflower seed, in the case of Mulder at least, because if sunflower seed was on Hostin, then we would not have any issue, and we would say, okay, well, Hostin has a health of 5, and he heals 2 damage tokens during each healing phase, and he gets out of the hospital quicker. But for Mulder, because he already has a health of 5, then it's a case where if you increase the health of your agent too much, then it's a detriment to you. So you have to be maybe careful who you equip those kind of equipments to.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see that too.
Yeah, because I mean, you could attach the sunflower seeds to an agent with 3 health, and then at that point, yeah, that the agent with only 3 health, as it's 3 starting health, would become 5 health, and so they would heal 2 per healing phase if they're in the hospital. And also, another way you could look at it is if, like, let's say you have an agent like Mulder, 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, or someone who they go to the hospital, but you decide to, like, oh, I'm gonna like heal Mulder 2, and then I'm gonna play this medical treatment, and then he's only got 3 out of his 5 health. And then he leaves the hospital, goes back out there, and like, oh, hey, give him some sunflower seeds, and his health's up to 5 at that point. So it kind of makes the sunflower seeds in that case make up for the what you didn't get by staying in the hospital for another round. So yeah, no, this is something we never thought of when it came to dried frog. Even though, I mean, we haven't seen it that often. So for the sake of tonight, and of course for, obviously yield to a larger discussion in Discord, let's say, yeah, it is a pretty awkward situation, but thankfully Skye's got a bit of Dr. Zuckerman to help out with that. So for me, it's going to be kind of a non-issue of sorts. But I certainly would like some clarification on what we do with the dried frog when an agent is sent to the hospital with that. So that is interesting. You learn something new every time you play this game. Never fails, right?
And so the resolution, though, do I give him 5 health or 7?
Well, again, you need only 3 health to be able to leave the hospital.
So I mean, sorry, I mean, how much damage does he have right now? Does he have 7 or does he have 5?
Let's say 7 for this. I know. Yeah, and again, I really am of the mind. I really think you can choose to discard a card when you feel like it. The rule book doesn't say, but it just seems logical to me. I'm like, you know what? I'm done with this government car. I'm going to just return it to Lariat Car Rentals and just call it a day, I mean, I just don't see why that wouldn't be an option. But then again, someone will disagree with me undoubtedly. So
then in chaining that, then, should I choose to discard it, I would then have to discard sunflower seeds, and then Mulder would be at 5. But if I choose to place like a counter of 7 first and then discard it, does it go down to 5 or stay at 7?
I think it would be, well, I know for this game it won't make any difference because you do have the healing card, but I think it would be too easy to say, okay, to send Mulder to the hospital you have to apply 7 damage, but then once the damage is applied, you're like, okay, well, I'm discarding sunflower seed, and then Mulder only has 5 damage instead of 7. It's like you make your opponent work for something, and then you make it easier for yourself at the same time by discarding the card. So it's like, because usually an agent with 7 health will pretty much be beatable by most adversaries, because most adversaries do not have 6 or 7 or 8 close range. So
I want to highlight John Yost's comment here. Yeah, I know there's a distinction there.
And so for most of the games, the reason why I mentioned the 5 or 7 is because in showing, like, in the rule book and stuff, they say to place counters, and then you count, you know, up to whichever point. So that's why I mentioned 7 and 5. I understand damage done.
With Sunflower Seed, I think it would make sense to me. Like Mulder has a health of 7 now. It takes 7 damage to send him to the hospital. So you place 7 damage tokens on him.
And then discarding Sunflower Seeds would still keep it at 7 or revert to 5?
I would say it would keep it at 7 because even if you discard it, Mulder took the 7 damage, and then no matter what happens, the damage are there, and removing the Sunflower Seed does not have the effects of a healing card.
Okay.
It's like if you, for instance, if you have cancerous nosebleed and you are and at some point you did get a few damage tokens, and then you managed to negate cancerous nosebleed, it does not retroactively remove the tokens that you have on the card. It just prevents you from getting other ones placed on you. So whatever happens when a card is in play, I think once that card is discarded, it does not retroactively heal you. It just prevents, in this case, it just prevents you from getting more damage. It's already confusing though.
I'm so confused because
alien bounty healer, anyone? But let's no, I'm really kind of trying to apply John's idea, his point, and I think if we were to apply John's point, what it would go back to is that when an agent who has either the dried frog or the sunflower seeds equipped to them, when the onus is on the conspiracy player to reduce their health to 0 in the course of their combat. And again, you disregard the equipment when the agent is in the hospital because you don't use equipment in the hospital. So that does mean that if you have the dried frog attached to Hosteen, you do have to still heal 3 health to get him out of the hospital. But he would only be healing at a rate of 1 per healing phase. And I'm almost kind of thinking that's just an easier way to go. I really think that's just the easier way to go. Is just disregard the equipment while healing. I really do like this. I like this idea. It's damage. There's the distinction between damage done versus damage healed. And so disregard the equipment while they're in the hospital. And so again, yes, dried frog would not make an agent heal faster, I guess. I'm going to go with that. But again, I really think that's a topic for our Discord community to weigh in on. Whatever the consensus is for dried frog, in this case, we apply that same consensus for the sunflower seeds. So best I could say. Oh, John had another thing I wanted to. From hospital heals from 0 once health is restored to a certain level. Yeah, you can leave. Minimum of 3 in order to leave. For agents with 3 health or less, agents of 3 health, they can only heal 1 per turn. Agents with 4 or more can heal 2 per healing phase. So that's kind of where the issue with like the dried frog being attached to a 3 health agent, do they heal twice as fast? And like initially I thought, hey, that's a cool benefit of using that equipment card on an agent. But now it's like, I see it's like the sunflower seeds almost kind of pointed a greater light onto it. Shall we just say for tonight, just disregard the health added by the equipment card while they're in the hospital? And again, we can come to a consensus as a community on that elsewhere at another time. How does that sound, guys? Yeah, I mean, you can't have sunflower seeds in the hospital, but you can only have the jello. That's a great point, Sean. Yeah. With 4 damage. Yeah, Mike's kind of leaning in Guillaume's camp on this. For me, I'm almost just wanting to. I kind of want.
I mean, for tonight, it doesn't make any difference.
For tonight,
a good thing.
But again, let's
yeah,
post it in Discord and let people weigh in on it, and then we can come to a better consensus on it. Nothing with regards to sunflower seeds needs to change.
Yep.
We just have to decide what do we do with these cards, that the existing ones like dried frog, and however that's applied is applied here. Okay. All right, let's carry on. This is why these playtest games wind up being almost 4 hours. So anyway, let's kick me out, and you guys can continue on. Thankfully, Skye has Dr. Zuckerman to help with
thank
this
you,
issue.
Steven.
Right,
Okay, so in lieu of that, then I'm not going to use that like spin down counter. That's going to be too confusing for me. So
yeah,
he's just in the hospital.
Okay, so Stiletto for Hire did its job, and only Sheriff Hartwell remains at the site with one occult investigation.
Yep. And so then he will be, or the site will be discarded, and I have 3 cards in hand.
And I have 7.
Perfect. Then I'll pass over to you.
Okay. I'm going to draw my free card, generate my res, which is 5. And I'm going to buy 4 cards, 5 cards. I'm going to buy 5 cards.
Okay.
And passing it to you.
Okay. I'm not going to sell any cards, but I will also buy 5 cards. Okay.
Okay. So many cards.
Right. And I'm like, ooh, what do all of these do?
Yeah. Okay. All right, so no healing, no requisition. For can we go there? Because I already have one site in play. I'll do that. For case assignment, deployment, everyone stays in the field. For case assignment, I'm going to play the Greenwood Memorial Hospital in Chicago, Illinois, medical or occult investigation, affiliation or method, and I'm going to use the token from Spiritual Consult to pay for that one.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay. I'll place 1 bluff under that site.
Okay, I'm going to use Scully's last token to look at the bluff.
Okay. So that one is the Fallen Ones. Force an opponent to remove one keyword mystic card from the game.
Okay. So I'm going to send everyone to investigate the site.
Okay. And then I shall, sorry, one more time, what's the skill check and what do you have?
So it's medical or occult affiliation method. I'm going to use occult. So currently I have 4, 5, 6. I have 7 occult. Oh, well, you know what? Hold on. Maybe this might not be the best way to go. No, let's go with occult. Yeah.
Okay. So you have 7.
Yes.
Okay. So then the Fallen Ones, I won't pay for it. I'll just throw it away. But I will play an adversary because it is an affiliation site, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So I'll use that forest creatures to take me down to 6. Do you have anything to negate it?
What are its keywords? Primordial,
Keywords?
right?
No, it's adversary, evolutionary, and creature.
Okay, well, no, I have nothing to negate it.
Okay. All right, so it says the long-range combat round is skipped. This adversary will attack the strongest agents first. The strongest agent having the highest sum of X, which is long-range combat plus close-range combat plus health plus OBS observation.
Observation, yeah. So that will be Skye.
Okay.
She has 5, 7 with observation, and Kreski has 5 because he has no observation. Yeah, so that's Skye.
Okay. And just for people watching at home too, if 2 or more agents share the highest sum, choose randomly among them. And this adversary may use subterfuge cards. So going into then close range combat, it has a CRC of 4.
Okay,
and that'll hit Skye.
Okay. So Skye takes 4 damage, but the team deals 6 damage. So the first creature is gone, and Skye takes 4 damage, and enough to send her to the hospital. Okay.
Yep. What is her normal health?
4.
4. Oh, okay. I wasn't sure she was 5 or not. Okay.
No, unfortunately, she's only 4.
Okay. Bummer.
Yeah.
Okay. And then no other cards to play.
Right, so now I have Occult Investigation 6 with hosting.
Okay. Cool. Then you are free to ask.
Right, so yeah, Skye could have used some flowers, some sunflower seeds.
God damn it, Steven. Bad timing.
So it's affiliation of method.
Okay. Ooh, there's almost like one of each for affiliation.
Yeah, well, so our last method, is your method violence?
My method is not violence.
Okay.
Yeah, Mike, don't start.
So, yeah, okay. Okay. So no identity question.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I have 6 cards.
And Okay. Oh, I have way more cards than that, so I...
Okay.
All right. I have 12 cards.
Wow. All right.
Okay. Where did we land on when it's actually okay to play a witness? Like, if I have a resource witness and I don't want to discard it, can I play it now, or is it too late? And do I either have to discard it or keep it in my hand?
Good question. I mean, for me personally, I'm okay with it.
I mean, I am too, but there has been some discussion on Discord, like you cannot play certain cards during certain turns, etc. So
yeah, I mean,
all right. So
we could say like after resolving the site, yeah.
Okay, so Steven said I'm still in. Yeah, sure. Okay, cool. So we'll play that one, and so I'm going to pay 4. Yeah, to play Lieutenant Terry Wilmer, and I'll place it in my bureau. And
what does he do? Sorry.
So it's a season 4 card. Adds 1 to one team's alien investigation skill check once during your turn. While in play, you may discard this resource during your opponent's turn to play the alien bounty hunter at no cost. Activator requirements permitting.
Okay.
So I need to. Why do you need to keep some? I don't know. Because I forgot that I also have only 1 in my conspiracy pool, so I do need to keep some cards that I can sell.
Oh yeah, you got to keep some blue cards.
Yeah. Yeah, I won't be able to. It's too much to press. Okay. And I'm also going to pay 2 to play Grid Parent Search, and I will add. No, hold on. Okay. And I will add the shotgun back to my hand.
Okay.
So, in the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I have 7 cards, and I'm discarding Dr. William Vinay, 5 Alarm Fire, Bridge of Size, and Prophet Ascending.
Okay.
And before I'll have a question. I'm going to write it down so I don't slow the game anymore that I'm already am. Prophet Ascending.
Okay. You're fine. I'm asking all the questions.
Guillaume, could you read out all the ones you just discarded? For my notes, please.
Prophet Ascending.
Who?
Prophet Ascending.
Oh, Prophet Ascending. Sorry. Oh, yes. Okay, go on.
Bridge of Size. Like, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, you're fine. You just read them so fast that I just could not keep up.
5 Alarm Fire and Dr. William Vinay.
Oh, sorry, I was writing down that you sold for CP, but this is just debriefing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep, just debrief.
Yeah.
I had so many cards in my hand that it was difficult.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Like I said, I'm just trying to take note of every playtest card and how it gets used. Profit Ascending. And Profit Ascending is an event, right? Not a bluff.
Yes, it's an event.
It's an event. Thanks. I should know this, but at the moment I was drawing a blank. It's after midnight. Okay. Excellent. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. I think we're all good. I have 7 cards in my hand.
Cool. All right. So I'll go ahead, draw my card. And I will generate 4. And I will not buy any cards. So I'll pass to you to sell and buy.
So I will sell the shotgun that I just retrieved for 6, and I will sell the alien bounty healer for 4. That's a total of 10. Puts me at 11.
Okay.
And I will buy 3 cards.
Okay.
And back to you.
Okay. So then let's go into healing now.
So I'm going to play 1 card immediately. I'm going to play.
No.
I'm going to play Deionized Water for 2. Play during your opponent's healing phase to prevent 1 hospitalized agent, your choice, from healing damage this turn.
How could you do that to my boy?
Well, it was either that, or alternately you may play this card to negate any 1 keyword healing card. Though I think I could also use it to negate Dr. Zuckerman. But let's say I'm going to prevent Mulder from healing any damage this turn.
But it would be negated when I play it, right? It wouldn't be an outright like discard. Since he's been.
But since it's a resource card, could I think I could still use Deionized Water, right? Steven, again.
But to negate it after it already exists?
I mean, it's like, for instance, if you have an event resource played on one of your agents and you only Frohiki during a later turn, then you can use Frohiki to retroactively negate the event card that is attached to your agent.
But in the same turn that it's played, but Zuckerman's been here for probably 3 or 4 turns.
I mean, for instance, we have that event Quarantine Zone in the Season 4 expansion, and sometimes you cannot negate it immediately, but in a subsequent turn, you are able to negate it when you draw a Frohiki.
Interesting, because I've never had a negate after a card's already been established.
Yeah, we've gone back and forth on that, but I think we've landed on you could use it to negate a resource card in a subsequent round. I know, initially my thought was you're negating it from being implemented, as that's how I initially thought.
That's how negate works. Yeah, it's not a discard.
To me, I always felt like negate was maybe, well, in my mind at least, it was to cancel that card, and basically you either discard it when it's in play or you prevent your opponent from playing it. But it's like you destroy the card, or you send whatever it is, you cancel it basically. That's
you're undoing the opposing player's ability to keep benefiting from it, like when you use Frohiki on rejuvenating caves a couple of rounds later. Initially, it took me a while to decide to hop from the camp of no, it's got to be the same round,
and because there are cards that say to discard 1 witness resource.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's different than negate, because that doesn't have a keyword negate. It doesn't use the word negate.
I think it's one of the instances where maybe you would say to negate or force your opponent to discard the card, but since you're also I'm short.
Force your opponent to discard.
Sometimes it's like, I think like negate is, to me at least, it's this all-encompassing word that basically it's just one word to say that you can either negate it when it's played, or you can force the opponent to discard it once it is in play. But
yeah, because I think that like when you have the phrase like force your opponent to negate, or force your opponent to discard versus like although it could have just said negate.
There's a distinction between those two words.
Yeah.
Because negate on the stack of magic or something like that, where the phrase basically comes from, that is in the chain, and so that's what you're negating.
And they were certainly Magic players who conceived of this game. So, they were. That could have been their intent. And gosh, as I was saying right at the start of this, we can never ask them what their intent is now.
Right.
You can only ask.
But I mean, for purposes here, though, I understand like the bigger one you would probably go for, though, right, is the first one you stated, Guillaume, of preventing him from healing any damage this turn.
Yeah.
But we're going with that one anyway.
But again, it might be a good question, because let's say if it ever comes up during a game or a tournament.
Oh, well. Because I mean, how many times
exactly?
Frohickey been used, or we have used Frohickey many a times on like resource cards, like eliminating the source, or Jose Chunks from outer space, or I don't know if it's ever been used on Video Trap, but just a few examples of conspiracy event resource cards that. And of course rejuvenating caves. I believe I've seen that at least once at one point. And
that would be weird if it's out of turn.
What's that? Sorry?
That would be weird if you used it out of turn, like if you Frohickey to rejuvenating caves, but it was already established and maybe down to like 6 counters or something.
Yeah. Because I mean, I've never even played Magic before, but I know other people have. And but that's what I really did think that was the idea behind it, is that you play it to stop a card's effect from being implemented. But I'm wondering, again, this is kind of one of those where, again, it speaks to not the particular cards we're playing now, like the playtest cards, but more of how do we apply the turn negate as a community to all of the many negate cards that exist in this game that were made available commercially. Mike said it really depends on if you think of Frohickey as an instant or an interrupt. I mean,
to me, it's like it feels reductive in a way, because we play with so many cards that it's difficult to have the right card in your hand at the right moment. So, for instance, if you don't have X in your hand when you did it, that's it, because it's the adversary it's played and it's discarded. Whereas if it's a resource card, I think you have as the investigating player, you have the benefit of having that card in play and have access to it easily. But also the downside to that is that your opponent can maybe negate that card in later turns.
Yeah, and I think what I've come around to is because I think and it's also you think of it with those adversaries with witness activators, and God, how hard those things are to play those adversaries at the right time. So kind of I've broadened my initial conception on those, because I'm like, because now it becomes a question of like what phase, like it has to be within the same phase that the card is played before you can, and then it's like, how restrictive do we want to be on these on this in order to get certain cards to be played? But then I also want to like not disregard like those who have played like other games like Magic, or for whom those certain terminology has a distinct definition.
It was birthed in there.
And knowing that those that conceived this game did have Magic as part of their background, so it could have been an intent there. But again, how do we going forward as a community want to interpret that? Again, I've already thrown one grenade into our Discord group with regards to this healing. Like, let's bring up questions with regards to the playtest, guys, that I can answer. Not
there is a
large game as a whole.
in the rulebook, there is a definition of it.
What's that?
In the rulebook, it does define negate. It says cancels the effect or influence of a target card. The target card is then placed in the owner's discard.
Say it again. Sorry, I coughed there.
Cancels the effect or influence of a target card. The target card is then placed in its owner's discard pile.
The influence of a.
And then does the basic rules and procedures manual define what the target card is?
No, of course not. And there is no definition for discard either, just for negate.
I assume the target card is just whatever is the card selected by the negate card. I think that's fairly reasonable to assume. It cancels the influence of,
cancels the effect or influence of a target card. So if you look at it, it's like whatever card you can target based on the keywords, no matter if it's played immediately or if it has been played and has been in play for several turns, it seems that you negate. You can do that on any card that you want.
Yeah.
Anyway, maybe, again, another question for but which is good that we're still finding those basic general questions after so many games.
Yeah, you're right. That was a bad example. Bad example. And now someone's gonna argue. Now I can see like 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, like, well, flame rejuvenating caves does in some degree of severity affect your team. I'm like, oh, for crying out loud!
In the spirit of the game.
In the spirit of the game.
Yeah.
Like, you could never negate caves.
in establishing then like a quick hypothetical in regards to this card, you can answer. For Dr. Zuckerman, the middle effect says remove one game effect token.
Yes.
Now, at the very end, it says from an agent in the hospital.
Yes. And that
what game effect tokens, aside from afflicted keywords, are afflicting or are on agents in the hospital? Do you have any examples?
A final choice.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
that I wasn't sure of.
That's
so
9 tokens if it's Mulder. Good Lord, you want Dr. Zuckerman there. If you got Mulder stuck in the hospital with 9 tokens on him, courtesy of a final choice.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just wanted to understand that better.
Yeah,
if it was negated.
Yeah, definitely. All right, I'm heading to the back.
Cool. Thank you. All right.
All right. So no healing for Mulder.
Yep, so no healing for Mulder. What comes next now that I'm all turned around? Case assignments. Oh, sorry. Oh, shit. Is it okay if I rewind just to add the token to Hackland?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
To see how this plays out? Okay.
Yeah,
this is a totally new feature.
It happened to me all the time during the previous game because, yeah, there are so many cards in play.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't remember to replace this little thing.
Yeah, to me, I'm fine. It's like the card is there, you haven't used the token during your turn, so yeah, you can do it anytime.
Cool, thank you. Then I will play, let's see. Does anyone have it? Also on Langley as well, I will equip the UFO conference for 2.
So it's for alien investigation, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So it's pays for alien investigation cards, and that's another one that I have to remember to replenish. Okay. Then let's see. Going forward, though, I'm kind of SOL. Yep. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have. Oh, I do have. What's your CP6?
Yes.
All right. Let's see. 4. No. Nope. I have nothing left to do this turn.
All right.
And I have 6 cards in hand.
And I have 7.
Okay.
All right, so I'm drawing my free card, generating my rise, which is now only 3. And I will purchase 2 cards.
Okay. I'm going to sell 4 sites for 1 each. And for Steven, it's Kazakhstan, Department of Defense, Coates Grove, and Cheney, Texas.
Okay.
For 4. Takes me to 10. And I will buy 3 cards. Okay.
All right, so healing, Skye heals 2 damage. But her health is
I
only...
will play deionized water as well.
Oh, okay.
To prevent that.
Oh, I had it coming.
I was glad that you played it too, so I can be like, oh, how is this going to work out?
And now I don't feel as bad about playing it, so...
Yeah, no, never feel bad. It's okay.
Yeah. Right, so no healing, no requisition. For case assignment or deployment, everyone stays in the field. And for case assignment, we are going to Tabler's Community Hospital. It's a medical or sciences, method, or result.
Okay. I have no bluffs.
All right, so I'm sending the whole team to the site. I'm going to go with sciences. So far I have 3 sciences. And like, I forget, do I have to... I have a card that will allow me to...
Yeah, you have first choice to play a card.
Okay, but if I say I'm not playing a card yet, and do I have to at least make the skill check for you to maybe play a card, or can I say, okay, for now I only have 3, I'm not playing any card at the moment, and wait to see whatever card that you might play?
As I understand it, if you choose not to play a card, then I would still have my opportunity to play a card. Okay. So for example, an adversary, just to try to take out one of your agents.
Okay, but then after that I can play a witness or something else, for instance, to
correct, as like a response or something different.
Okay, so I'm not playing any card for now.
Okay, then I will play Mighty Min for 5. And that's an adversary with the keywords primordial and pawn. And damage from long-range combat may be split among all agents with the keyword FBI.
Okay, well, at least none of my agents have that keyword, so that's something.
So I'm gunning for one of them. And he has, I guess, I'm sorry, they have a long range combat of 4, close range combat of 2, and a health of 5.
And I have just 5 long range, so I defeat them in long range, but they still deal 4 damage to one of my agents.
Yes. So currently Burke is your highest sciences, I assume.
Correct.
Or sorry, I still don't know the
Yes.
middle guy.
So
Okay.
Burke has 2, Kresge has 1, and Hostin has 0 sciences.
Okay. So then I'm going to target Burke.
Okay. So Burke takes 3 damage because
4. Yeah.
well here.
Oh, 3, okay.
And he's sent to the hospital, and the mighty men are also defeated.
Okay.
Okay, so now I only have Sciences 1, which is a good time for me to play Margaret Scully. Adds 1 to one team's medical or sciences skill check. This con may be played for 0 cost and is treated as a +4 to the appropriate skill if Agent Scully is in the hospital. So Scully is in the hospital, so I can play Margaret Scully for free, and she adds 4 to the sciences skill check, plus the one from Kresge, so that's just 5.
Perfect. And you are free to ask your question.
Okay, so it's method or results.
Ooh, there's 3 results left.
Yeah.
And two methods.
Is your method possession?
My method is possession.
Okay, so that brings it down to 2.
And I was just popping in to say, given the time being, it's about 20 minutes to 1. I have my daughter
to take an identity questions.
I was going to strongly encourage you guys in the nicest possible terms to start asking identity questions just for the sake of time. I really got a lot going on tomorrow, and I want to get some shut-eye. But this has been a very productive playtest up to this point.
Of course,
Right.
of course.
Well, since I'm being pressured to take an identity question,
I am saying that, please, I'm pleading with you guys in the night as much as possible.
If I get a no answer and then Skye gets a good characteristic question in penalty, that will be my curse for the identity question.
And you can you can blame that on me. It's just, yeah. I was gonna say, yeah, I was hoping we could wrap it up by 1 a.m. and then I could.
You can just concede now. You can concede now. I have you down to 34. Come on.
So Skye, are you the Arctic worm?
I am not the Arctic worm.
So I know who you are. Okay.
Yep. And so I will just, for fun, just guess your X-File. Is your X-File John Barnett?
No, it's not.
Okay.
But you know what? I was thinking of Young at Heart. I was reading something about that episode last night, and I almost pulled John Barnett.
Oh man, no way! Great.
What were you thinking about Young at Heart? Just out of curiosity.
Because I just found this blog that reviews every episode, and so I'm starting to read from season 1. And last night I read the review for Young at Heart. So
that was
David Mooney. Is it Mooney?
Oh yeah.
Is that the name? Is it Mooney's?
Of the
AV Club?
Yeah, movie blog with the O being a 0.
Yes. Is it
Is
that one?
What you're reading?
No, it's one that I found at random. It's called Apartment 42 Revisited.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's new. Okay.
I agree, Skye. I agree. Like David Mooney's movie blog for the X-Files episode is by far like the most like comprehensive. Like it is like pure essays, and you learn so much when you read them. I mean, it's like you're reading like a novella every episode when you review that. It's like one of those episode guides that used to be printed back in the 90s. He has so much to say, and he's so intelligent, and like you really start thinking about the episodes in new light when you read that
And he
stuff.
also he wrote the book too, Opening the X-Files, I think, as well. And that's kind of a good distillation of those reviews. I recommend.
And in addition to the X-Files, the movie blog, excuse me, does also cover the episodes of Millennium, the Lone Gunman series. I think he got into season 10. I don't think he did season 11. But he also does review the X-Files Topps comics from the 90s. All those issues are covered in there as well. I think he might have done some of the later comics that came out as well. I don't like the 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 ones, perhaps. I don't remember because I haven't read all of it. He did do the X-Files 30 Days of Night. Like there's so much. I highly recommend it. Free plug right there. Movie blog. The O in movie is a 0. Great resource. And I'm getting out of here because I really do want to wrap it up by 1. Carry on, guys, please.
All right, so I do need the site is discarded, and I'm debriefing. I have 8 cards, and I'm discarding Summoned by the Stars.
Okay, great. And let's go ahead. I'll speed through. Draw my card. Create 4 resources. And I will not buy. No, I will buy 3 cards and pass to you.
I will sell the 2 children from season 5. I will sell Emily Sim for 3 and Gibson Praise for 3 as well. Puts me at 12. And I will buy 6. Right, 4 cards. Oh, yeah, 4 cards.
Okay. This card, Digging Up the Past, would make this game so long. Shuffle your discard pile and then exchange your discard pile with your bureau deck. Jesus Christ. All right. Healing. If I'm allowed to heal, I'll heal 2. And then I will use Zuckerman to heal another 1. So he now has 3 out of potentially 7 health. So he can come out from the hospital. I'll requisition. I will deploy everyone into the field. I will requisition, because the activator is field.
But it's not your...
sorry, not the requisition phase, sorry. So skip that, throw that away. I'll play a site, another one. Church of St. Peter. This one has a lot going on. This one's motive, method, occult investigation, and medical. And it costs 1. And I will use Lucius Hardwell's token for that.
Okay. So occult in the 3, 4, 5. I have 1 bluff for that site.
Okay, we're gonna send everyone there to investigate. So occult investigation 5+ is what I'll go for. And I currently have 3, 4, 5, 6.
What did you say the keywords are on the site? Method and motive?
Yep. And medical, along with occult investigation.
Okay. So the bluff is mad scientist, no problem.
Okay.
It costs 6, but 5 since it was face down, puts me at 3. Play this card to gain one of the following effects. Change the side prerequisite to sciences 3+, negate 1 keyword sciences card, or increase the cost of all resource cards played at this site by 2. So I will choose to change the side prerequisite to sciences 3+.
Okay, and I currently have then a sciences of 2. Let's see. Now I do have a question for interagency luncheon, Stephen.
Yep, I already know what the question is because it came up in the last playtest. Go for it.
Okay. Sorry. So it's only. Is it only for a team consisting of 2 agents total?
My intent was for it to be a team composed of at least, and as a result of the question arising in the last playtest, that will be a change that Dax will eventually be making. So treat it as a team composed of at least.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, cool. So then I will just play this card for 1 to add 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Takes me to 9. And then I have nothing to affect that change in prerequisite, so I'll discard it. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards in hand. So pass to you.
I have 8 cards, so I need to discard something. I'm going to discard. Okay, xenotransplantation.
Okay.
That was a tough one. Drawing my free card. I'm going to generate my res, which is now only 2.
Okay.
And let's see. And I will not buy any card.
Okay.
This, okay, thanks.
I'm going to sell.
Oh, I will buy just 1 card. Sorry.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, okay. No. Oh no. No, I'm not buying any cards.
Okay. I'm gonna sell my whole hand of 5 cards for. Sorry, Stephen. Urakoltov, Star of Russia, for 4. Intruder Alarm for 3. Wooden Stake for 3. Digging Up the Past for 4. And Ammo Depleted for 2, for a total of 16.
Whoa.
Yep, 16 total. 16. Okay, and I'm gonna buy 7 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and I'll pass to you.
All right.
Okay.
So healing, Skye heals 2 and Burke heals 1. For No requisition for
Okay.
deployment. Well, they are still stuck in the hospital. For deployment, I'm going to pay 3 to have Detective 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 join the team for 1 turn.
Ooh.
Yeah, I took a page out of Alistair's book. He did it twice during last week's game, and I thought,
Wow.
yeah,
That's
and
cool.
he made a good point too. Like sometimes you play witnesses for 3 or 4, and like you can also play an agent and benefit from more skills and also from their combat skills. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And for case assignment, we are going to go investigate. We're going to go to Coates Grove.
Okay. And can you read that one for me?
Yeah, it's behavioral 5+, or occult investigation 5+. It's affiliation or method. And if the method is manipulation, the skill check prerequisite is 4. So I'm going to use that part of the game effect.
Okay.
And there is already 1 bluff on that side.
The one you're just bringing back.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was already in play, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yep, then I will not play any new bluffs on it.
All right, so I'm sending everyone to the site.
Okay.
So I will use occult investigation. And so for now, I have 6 occult investigation, thanks to 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬.
Okay. Then let's go ahead and I'll reveal the bluff is the dial and smile. But I don't think, do you have any witness resources in play?
Yes, I do.
Oh, cool. Then I'll pay 2 to discard it.
So it was Lieutenant Terry Wilmer, and just to show that the alien bounty hunter is really useless, your previous site had the activator of motive, which is the activator required for the alien bounty hunter. And I discarded Terry Wilmer to play the alien bounty hunter at no cost, which I have in my hand. But since he only has health of 6, then it was useless because your team, like Langley, and you had 7 long range, which is enough to him. So I was so frustrated. I was like, oh, maybe I will be able to, and no. So yeah.
Well, I'm glad I could have some defense there.
Yeah.
No,
I'm getting bounty hunter for now, but I will probably discard it now.
Okay, yeah. And then in addition, adversaries with the activator witness may ignore activator requirements. And son of a gun, I don't have that type of adversary. But I will pay 2 more just to try to use a card. Rumors of witchcraft. Search your bureau deck and choose any 1 keyword occult or occult investigation card. Show it to you, add it to my hand, and shuffle.
I will pay.
Oh, sorry.
I will pay 3.
I just looked at the bottom.
I will pay 3 to negate it.
Okay.
To play for Hiki.
Dang. The very bottom card was that bad blood adversary card.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, no of the vampire, and with Burke in the hospital, yeah.
And I sold the wooden stake. Okay, you're free to ask your question.
So, is your method manipulation?
It is not.
So, are you Warren James Dupree?
I sure am. Great.
And congratulations, Guillaume. This is your 2nd win on the playtest, right? Because you did win the last one, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Congrats again. And Skye, great job. And you have got, I actually want to congratulate both of you guys because you guys played a number of great cards tonight that I want to highlight. Obviously, Guillaume, You played Blight. I was really looking forward to seeing that one. And both of you guys really made good use of the keyword expenditure cards.
Yeah.
I think we got 3 total out there. 4. Yes, 4 out of 11 out there between the two of you, and it's amazing. I mean, that card, or I'm sorry, that keyword occupies 11 of the 175 cards in this set, because each of the 11 skills is represented on one of those cards, and so I'm liking that we're seeing that represented. And of course, I love that you guys are repeatedly using my alma mater, University of Indiana Bloomington. Coach Grove is getting a lot of love, which I love the image on that site.
Yeah.
Let's see. Interagency luncheon has come up again, but yeah, again, we already have resolved the glaring oversight with the words "at least." And let's see. Dial and Smile. I'm glad you got to play that one at the end there, Skye. And you would have used that to play which adversary were you going to benefit from?
So there wasn't actually. I really just wanted to discard the witness resource, but I was hoping. And I don't know, I can't remember which adversary inside, but the adversary in my hand was the Rebel Strike. So I was hoping to get that highest cost card out for 9. I really wanted to try to see that do something.
And that's the other thing I wanted to highlight for this playtest, because you guys really made good use of the adversaries. The Solidify Hire, which Guillaume played earlier on, got an agent sent to the hospital. Skye, you got a couple of Guillaume's agents sent to the hospital with the Forest Creatures and the Mighty Men. That great work on that.
Yeah.
We really didn't get to see a whole lot of adversaries in the previous playtest, but we certainly got to see some tonight. And you both made great use of Skye, you made especially good use of witnesses with Zuckerman and Werber.
Yeah.
Excellent use. Excellent, guys. I'm very happy with this. So really the only actual question we had with regards to the playtest cards that really took us for a loop was with regards to distrust. Yep. So we're going to be looking at making a change for that, which that was a fairly easy one. So I think actually what I'm going to do is I think we were kind of going back and forth. John Yost had suggested combine on versus 2, and I was actually thinking what I'm going to do with that is 2 agents, your choice, may not combine their skilled. Let me start over. So I think what I'm going to do for that revision is have it say as follows: 2 agents, your choice, may not combine their skills toward any of the same skill checks this turn. How's that sound?
I think that's okay. Yeah, towards is good.
Yeah, but I think just 2 is also correct.
Yeah.
It might take less space on the card anyway. So.
It might actually. So
yeah,
that
2 is good. Yeah.
Very little room, which I was kind of hoping we wouldn't have to apply any further clarification beyond that, because the quote is a little long, and I really hate it when I have to lose great quotes from these episodes in order to make room for more clarification on there. So, gentlemen, we got actually it is 1 o'clock, so I'm gonna try to wrap it up. But Skye, I want to let you weigh in. This was your first playtest. What's your takeaway from this set?
Sorry, before that, Mike asked a good question. What was Guillaume's question? And I know this is in regards because actually the question was unsuccessful. You asked if my method was manipulation. But it is possession, actually. But you had it, you knew the card, you had it down to 1. So you just asked the wrong word. But then we still guessed Warren James Dupree.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But
so for Mike's technically part, but for time, we're rushing through.
Yeah. Yeah, that is correct, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So Mike, good catch there.
Yeah. Oh, man. We'd be starting over.
So, no, I caught that as well, but I was like, I know we're pressed for time.
He was gonna just in this case, he had it narrowed down to 1. So whatever characteristic question he was gonna say, he was gonna go with that identity question. So it's kind of a non-issue, but at the same time, it is worth noting for
people watching,
for accuracy and all that. But yes, good catch, Mike. Good catch. And before we go, I want to point out we have another playtest game happening tomorrow, Sunday evening, on this channel. And it's going to be between Mike D, who's been watching the live chat who's been watching from the live chat since this game started. And thank you for staying with it for all 3 hours, Mike. You are going to be taking on John Yost, who did call it a night a little earlier. John, thanks so much for watching, and we will see you tomorrow for that playtest. Again, Mike D versus John Yost, this channel, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we're going to have a third playtest game happening. So it's a doubleheader this weekend with Season 5 expansion playtest. So I'm looking forward to seeing what those two gentlemen bring to this. These are playtesters, Guillaume, who we did not see previously in our playtest for Season 4. So I'm very excited to see what they'll be bringing to it. Just as I was for Skye, this was your first playtest for us, for our creative team. And of course, this was a great game, and I hope you feel like it was a worthwhile venture for you.
Yeah, it was great. I really liked seeing sort of the creativity of some new cards come in, especially Distrust being so powerful. I especially like that card. But going through too, it's going to add some extra strategy, because I'm sure lots of people may want to be like, oh, I want the lone gunman on my team, but that's going to take up 6 or 18 of your available 20 to set up your agent team. So, but I think a lot of the cards, like, I had probably maybe too many questions, but I think it was good, at least for mechanic wise, and seeing how things like negates work or healing and things like that. There were a lot of good new cards too, like deionized water was really fun to see played, and that it has 2 effects is really cool to alternatively like negate a healing card as well. It's cool to have those kind of bonus cards. Maybe it's a little bit cheap on the side of 2, but I think that's good to maybe have.
Deionized water. Deionized water you're talking about, right?
Yeah, for 2.
Okay, let me note that.
So it's a cheap. I mean, cheap as in a cheap cost, not as in a cheap card.
No, I get what you're saying, and kind of one of the. I mean, I have to say I enjoy playtesting by and large, but I know we often have situations where we do haggle on the cost of some cards, and it's often very difficult to reach consensus because everyone's got their own opinion on it. But let me take another look-see at this, especially because I think conspiracy cards, by and large, they tend to have a slightly higher cost than resource cards.
For some of them, but especially like bluffs often have some of the best costs because of the -1 if played face down. But for an event,
and actually, Guillaume, and maybe you can help me out, because you have a copy of you have a copy of the unreleased Skye expansion.
I have that card in front of me. Agents in the Hospital. Yeah, the thing is, Agents in the Hospital, it has a cost of 3, and it prevents all agents in the hospital to heal this turn. So,
versus 1, and that card costs 3. So I think that was my logic in applying 2.
I think the only thing you could say is that deionized water has 2 effects. So maybe you could say maybe.
Yeah, but I mean, too, it's just like can be one of those next staple cards in your deck. You know.
Well, because first of all, you have to have played a card in a previous turn to send the agent to the hospital. So bluffs that send an agent to the hospital are quite costly. So are adversaries. And it's also putting the card in your hand at the right moment, because if you don't have it during the first 2 or 3 healing phases, then it's useless.
Now, here's a question for you guys. Now, let's say you have deionized water in your hand, and your opponent decides to play, or let's say your opponent has Hostine in the hospital. It's like, okay, I'm going to heal Hostine for 1, or let's say, would you feel okay paying 3 to prevent Hostine from being healed once, 1 token?
I mean, it depends on which turn it is and sort of how close you are to the X-File. And if hosting has used his token or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's say alternately, your opponent decides to play medical treatment for 1 to heal an agent of 1 damage in the hospital. That has a keyword healing card. Would you be okay paying 3 to negate the medical treatment card?
No, I'm not against the cost of 2. I actually think that's a really cool benefit. Yeah. So
Yeah, no,
I mean, if it was 3,
like,
depending on the agents, but I mean,
yeah.
in that situation it depends. But 3 for conspiracy points, you get more conspiracy points than resource points just by the ability to sell your resource cards.
Sure.
So I'm okay paying 3.
Okay. I just wanted to gauge
But
whether or not, like, because one of the things that makes some of these cards seem less appealing to players is when they're too costly to the point of like, to get that benefit, I'm like, I don't really want to pay this much. Like, I'll get, like, obviously instances being the bounty hunter is so outrageously, like, no one wants to play it because it's 12. Kiss of the Vampires, like 10. No one ever plays them because they're so expensive, and then that's where they become less desirable. Obviously, those are very extreme examples, but again, it's 1 a.m. So off the top of my head. So I just wanted to get a sense of, like, there are cards where you're like, I like it, but I don't like it that much.
Well, and so like Rebel Strike, I wanted to try to use because it was the highest cost adversary of 9. So I was like, ooh, I can't get quite close to that 10, but even 8 for good people, good food is really hard to pull off too.
Very hard, yes.
So,
and
so
sometimes
this one I'm like,
say, like, the cost of the adversaries in this expansion as well as the previous one are almost sometimes like you might like, especially with the Rebels Strike, they're very similar to the Bounty Hunter. But I am not going to give them a cost of 12. I am protesting the cost of the Bounty Hunter because it is insane how expensive that card is, and he gets destroyed so easily. That's why Guillaume couldn't play him tonight because he was always
I could have, but it could just have been for the pleasure of actually playing him, but it would be useless. I would have had to have at least 1 combat card in my hand in order to make him effective.
Yeah, for 12 CP, that bounty has to have like 6 long range and 6 close range, so he better be able to take out 1 agent automatically, regardless of what happens, and still have the awesome blood effect, poisonous
or
blood.
higher health.
Yeah. So here's what I'm going to do, Skye. I've made a note of that. So we're only 2 playtest games in, so I'm hoping we're going to see deionized water get, like, we got 2 use of it tonight. It got played twice. That was one of
but I mean, I'm not opposed to 2 either. So I don't think it should change, but I think that would be the one card I think that could potentially go up to 3. But I like it because it can become a staple card.
Yes, and it would still become a staple card for you even if it was 3. Yep.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, to have that option with so much conspiracy.
Increase to 3 CP. And you make a good point. Yeah, you really did make a good point about how, like, again, I will say, like, my rationale for 2 was because agents in the hospital prevents all agents from getting healed. But at the same time, though, we have an alternate effect on here. But at the same time, like it's still doing the same, it's accomplishing the same thing. Like, it's preventing a successful diagnosis or a medical treatment from healing an agent in the hospital, like 1 or 2, versus the healing phase where you would just normally take 1 token off or 2 tokens off. However, it's broad, like this card has a slightly broadened effect, because you see sometimes medical treatment and successful diagnosis get played in other phases outside of the healing phase. They can be played in other phases. Usually they're not. They're usually played in either briefing or healing phase, more than likely, usually, but they could be played outside of that. So deionized water has the ability, to be played outside the healing phase if healing depending on when a healing card gets played. Also, like White Buffalo is another healing card that could be played to heal an agent or a wound token, for instance. So that deionized water does have a bit of power. It could also negate
Or it could negate 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 Mace. It could negate some of the, I think, some of the Fight the Future cards that allow the agent to come back to the field immediately. Also,
yeah,
I forget the name
true.
of that one. Yeah,
we have other negate. Okay, so let's think about it this way, and I really don't want to take up too much time because I do want to get to sleep tonight. But we have a lot of we have a lot of keyword negate cards, CP cards that were part of the commercially released expansion. Let's say Brother Andrew costs 4 to negate 1 keyword behavioral card. Dr. Joe Ridley costs 4 to negate 1 keyword medical card. Colonel Kissel costs 4 to negate 1 keyword sciences card. The local law enforcement are uncooperative, costs 4 to negate a criminal investigation card. Evidence destroy costs 4 to negate 1 keyword evidence collection card, and so forth. And then we have road hazard, which costs 1 to negate 1 keyword move card. So,
so that one's super situational though, because how often is a move card being played?
Right, but I just was kind of going over like some of the spectrum of like negate cards. The majority of negate cards that are part of commercially released set cost 4 CP.
Yeah.
And that's to negate 1 keyword card. So
I think because usually those cards, they can negate a site altogether.
Negate a site. Yes. So usually you would see a lot of those cards being put towards a site, which is certainly what I would do, and if I have one of those in hand. So we have,
which then makes the ionized water seem very cheap in the cost of being 2, where like a site only costs 1, and you're like, oh, okay, I can just get another one the next turn.
But the site is like a crux of the round, though. So being able to negate a site is kind of like a big deal. But I think
in the middle.
Yeah, go ahead. It's the alternate effect for me that that's why I was like between the cost of the CP cost of 1 to negate a move card versus any of the keyword cards that might be found on a site. This is kind of where it's me doing a bit of like meet in the middle. But again, it's the ability to have this alternate effect with deionized water does actually have me a bit on the fence. I am considering raising it because of that.
And Mike chimed in too. Mike says it's not a terrible price to stop healing for a turn. So
that's good because again, I like to have like some more opinions in at this point, because at this point we have that option to modify these cards before they're released. I don't want to hear it after Dax has sold all these cards and everyone's like, I don't like the cost. I don't like this card because the cost is. I don't want to hear it. I want to hear it before we make these available. So this is what I want, as opposed to afterwards. So I did put that on here as a possibility for a change. It's very likely that is going to be a change. But as I said, we are only a couple playtests in, and I'm hoping we'll see this card. And I do have this as a note. So if anyone does play it in the course of the other playtests, I do want them to weigh in. Now, you played this card for 2. How would you feel if it was for 3? So other playtesters will be asked that question as it comes up, and I will just kind of get a majority on that. But it looks like Guillaume, I don't know, Guillaume, where are you standing on that? I've got 2 opinions already. Where are you?
I agree. I think given that there are that there is an alternate effect, I think 3 should be.
3 is fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was okay playing the card for 2. It was fine actually.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, but I think it's, and usually you either play adversary or play cards to send your opponent to the hospital. So you can build your deck around trying to send some agents to the hospital. So that card is not too situational. Build your deck correctly. So I think it's a good one.
Okay, it's not as situational as a move card. And again, this has a couple of options for when it can be played. So I mean, looking at the agents in the hospital card from the Skye set, which again can prevent multiple agents from healing, which is pretty detrimental if you've got 2 or more agents in the ICU that need healing, and that card gets played for 3, and it's like, well, there goes your healing phase. was going to really be a key to getting some agents out on the field so you can investigate. Maybe it's a question of maybe that card is too cheap to, for 3 perhaps. But again, I'm not gonna belabor it for too long because it's a bit late. So I do want to call it a night, but again, not before I thank both you guys for availing your time tonight. And again, Mike and John Yost and everyone who was weighing in the live chat. I cannot thank you enough because your insights is really going to be what helps to make these cards, top notch. And so ideally when they're released, everyone will be happy with them. So again, I want to emphasize, please hit that subscribe button if you like this content and you want to see more of it, because that little bit of support really does go a long way. And give the video like it, while you're at it, while you're clicking away, and drop some comments if you have any questions about the cards, stuff you like and stuff you didn't like. And so again, we have another playtest happening tomorrow night between Mike D and John Yost. And so tune in for that, and we'll hope to see even more playtest cards, because we got 175 cards to give a stress test to before we can declare this expansion a serviceable addition to the ones that we've already brought out. Gentlemen, parting words before we close the door to this X-Files office.
Join the Discord.
Yeah, and I want to thank Alistair for giving me the idea to include an agent in my bureau deck, because it was really useful, and she came up at the right time, so that was good.
Bravo to Alistair on that. And it's crazy, like we have played so many games prior, and it took a playtest game before we realized that, hey, that's a pretty useful strategy. So it's interesting that it came out then, as opposed to, like, say, a tournament game or any other many casual games that we've done up to this point. And Skye, that was a great point. Yes, join their Discord, join the Facebook group, X-Files Collectible Card Game. Links to both of those are in the description of this video and every single video on this channel. There's also links to Yost's website, which has a great resource, a great array of resources for fans of this game. I'm on Instagram as well. You can see a lot of cool memorabilia on there. There's lots of links below you can check out if you're a fan of this game. Again, thank you guys, and we will say goodnight. And please be sure to tune in next time for another edition of Alien Investigations. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Farewell.